taking you through every movement, every emotion, close at hand on the touchline. Zane, they don't get much bigger on Friday night here at Lang Park.
You know how excited I get for State of Origin. Well, it's similar for me tonight. The battle, is it for Brisbane or is it of Brisbane? Because these two sides, there's so much spice. The Broncos think it's of Brisbane. The Redcliffe Dolphins, they think it's for Brisbane. So, look, it's amazing. Not quite the full house we're expecting just yet. 40,000 in the house. It is building with an early start. 21 degrees, and most importantly, a fast, dry track. I can't wait to see the likes of Herbie Farnworth and Jake Averillo up against Katoni Staggs and Dean Mariner. There's going to be some flying football tonight. As Billy said, they've got a 5-1 lead, the Broncos. It's time for the Dolphins to lay a foundation stone at this venue. If they want it to be their home, they've got to show that they deserve it to be their home. After last week's performance against Cronulla, they've got to back it up tonight, particularly with no pay in hearts for the Broncos and Tommy Flegler. Expect at least 50 minutes from him, according to Coach Wolf.
Here come the Dolphins, the enemy for tonight here. They are the away team. Hamiso Tabuai-Fido at fullback. Jermaine Asako and Selwyn Cobbo play on the wings. Jake Averillo and Herbie Farnworth in the centres. 3 of the back 5 know what it's like to wear the Broncos strip. Cody Nikorima at 5'8" with Isaiah Katoa-Catton in halfback. Tom Gilbert starts up front with Felice Kafusi. Max Plath is the hooker. Connolly Lemu-Elu and Kulikefu Fine-Fuiaki are in the second row. Morgan Knowles, the Englishman, is the lock forward. And the bench is 4 of these half dozen. Brad Schneider, Tom Flegler, Oren Keeley, Ray Stone, Trey Fuller and Francis Molo. In a moment, the Broncos will run out. It'll be Reece Walsh at fullback. Josiah Karapani and Grant Anderson on the wings. Katoni Staggs and Dean Mariner in the centres. Ezra Mam joined in the halves by returning skipper Adam Reynolds. Missed last week's win in Melbourne with a rib injury. Corey Jensen up front with the aforementioned Willison. Corey Pakes the starting hooker. Brendan Piakura and Jordan Ricky in the second row. Pat Carrigan the lock forward. And the bench to choose from: B Hunt, J Hunt, Tolti, Tolfa, Shibasaki, and the young man Va'a Semu is a potential debutant tonight. Here come the Broncos. The house still about, I'd say 75% full. Late arrivals will no doubt flesh it out. But they'll make some noise, that's for sure. It was always going to take a couple of seasons, I think, Billy, for the Dolphins to be able to really lay claim to certainly be able to take on the might of Red Hill on the field. I think the time is now. Yep. The time is now for the Dolphins, where they almost fully fit squad. Still no Marshall King, Donahue or Bostock, but no Payne Haas tonight. They've been injury-racked the last couple of seasons, the Dolphins. If they stay fit in 2026, when you reckon that they'll get to the pointy end of the table?
I've got them top 4. They stay fit. And it's a big game, because you said this is time, and Zane mentioned, this is the time for the Finns to say, this is our house too.
That's the ref whistle of Ash Klein, who's in control. NRL Friday, as battle lines are drawn once more here on ABC Sport. Kickoff taken by the Dolphins. Broncos with the first carry, and a 4-man red wall waits Corey Jensen with the first hit up of the day. And the Broncos are running the right of your radio dial down to the southern end as the head-geared Ricky just gets beyond the 10-second carry of the game. Now Willison, who's wearing that number 10 jumper tonight, almost to the 30. Brisbane in its home strip. And Walsh has rocked Reece Walsh on a left side scoot there. Knowles in the tackle along with others. He gets up and he's okay as Piakura runs beyond the 30-metre line. He's about 15 Broncos side of halfway, getting to the end of the first set. Walsh will kick downfield for the Broncos. High and deep, but straight to the hammer. Tabuai-Fido catches 15 from his own line, and the kick return give him 10 on the run, met by 3 Broncos defenders, and he'll play at midway goal line and halfway as Katoa's in a dummy half. Gives the ball on to Asako. Jermaine Asako, 77 games for the Broncos, but a revelation since getting to the peninsula via the Titans, and the first wavy fisty of the night. A ruck infringement there from the Broncos. So the Dolphins with a fresh set as they're 5 from halfway, and now infield runs Farnworth. It was Cobbo the previous run, so he's got a touch early. And now Herbie to halfway. Plays the ball there to Platt. Passes right and centre field. Gilbert runs into the defence and takes the tackle. Tom Gilbert put down centre field and 43 metres from the Broncos line. Platt directs it right for Katoa. Gives it on to the impressive Fine Fuiaki, who started the season really eating up the metres. He's averaging 186 through 3 games. Give him 6 or 7 on that run to the 30. Now to the left. Katoa into the hands of Nicarima. Gets past Reynolds. Has to stop. Passes back infield to Katoa, who dummies and straightens. But Carrigan's there along with Willison and Jensen to make the tackle. Last play for the Finns. They're 25 metres from the Broncos line. Nicarima receives from dummy half. Puts up a shallow bomb to the left wing. Cobbo catches, chucks it out the back to the hammer. Keeps it alive. Throws it infield. It bounces. Gathered by Katoa. He now kicks it for the right wing, hoping for Asako, who catches it, but is tackled immediately. Tackled immediately out there by Karapani. Hand over and the Broncos get the ball.
Always be wary of the second kick, but that was well diffused by the Broncos. The back five of the Finns is amazing, and that ripping tackle on Reece Walsh was Max Platt. So they're fired up here. Both clubs are going red hot.
Billy Moore with you, Quentin Holland, Zane Bojack for NRL Friday on ABC Sport. A ripple of applause there. Good run from Mariner early in the set for the Bronx. And now up to halfway, second carry by Staggs. Now to right and centre field. Carrigan has it and takes the Bronx into attacking territory. 42 from the Dolphins line. Plays it there. Directed right from Pakes to Reynolds. His infield pass ricochets off Jensen to Walsh. Walsh is bouncing off tacklers grand final style. About 20 metres out. Chucks a pass to the left edge. And a good read from Asako to get in the face of Mariner and make the tackle. Walsh bouncing around there off a loose ball, almost like he was in that grand final try against the Storm. Settling it up from the Broncos over the 20 on the carry of Willison. Played to Pakes, given on to Carrigan. He's tackled under the black dot and 10 metres out. First real scoring opportunity for the Brisbane Broncos. Left edge, it's Walsh bouncing infield. There's an offside there. 6 more for the Bronx. Offload from Walsh to Willison. Willison's tackled. Only 5 metres out, and another ruck infringement here from the hammer. Another restart to the right. Reynolds gives it on to Mam. Grubber for Staggs, and Staggs scores right near where he scored the ceiling try in the first battle. If he hasn't fumbled it in planting it.
He's lost it forward, but has he regathered in time?
No time.
Not according to Ash Klein.
And he doesn't regain it, so he catches up to it, but I don't believe he regains possession.
That's the critical question.
Early pull of the trigger with the kick too. Cobbo was reaching. Staggs definitely knocks it forward.
As Tony gets a touch on it, he needs to grip or hold the ball before grounding it. We're just looking at all of our language.
So he doesn't grip or hold it, but he plants it.
He plants it, he doesn't grip it.
With one hand, you can't grip it that way, I wouldn't think.
So the top of his hand hits the top of the ball, pushes down on it. He's definitely got contact.
So back when under the old interpretation they would have given that, but not these days.
That's no grip.
Is that the way we see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
No grip. The
Hasn't gripped it or controlled it.
Old days try.
Yeah.
Modern rule no.
Definitely downward pressure, but he hasn't taken control of the ball before the downward pressure.
Correct.
I'm going to go devil's advocate. I reckon once he grabs hold of the point, he does actually have control of it.
If he does that, he's got Andre the Giant hands.
Well, it depends what you class as a grip.
At this stage, Tony grips the ball.
Oh, they are.
The ball doesn't come away from the hand, and then he grounds the ball in the in goal. We have a decision.
White Raymond's going to give that a try.
It all comes down to the word.
So he's gripped the ball from the end of the ball.
Yep. That's what it comes down to.
Try. There's always talking points in these games, and we've got one after 4 minutes. Tony Staggs, as mentioned, almost that spot where he said this is our ... home at the end of the first battle. He scores, and he's now got 4 tries for the season.
Well, what you've seen in the first 4 minutes, it's exciting football. The Finns, when their first taking set was exciting. They threw it around, but what was impressive for the Bronx, is that man, Reece Walsh, 4 or 5 touches, they know, and he's been lethal. He's bouncing out of tackles, he's offloading balls, he's causing grief. That was a great little kick through. Well done, Ezra Mann, well done, Katoni Staggs.
Reynolds from 9 in from touch, 25 metres out, has hooked it across the face, misses, no goal. Broncos 4, Dolphins 0. NRL Friday on ABC Sport, 5 minutes in, Zane Bojack on the touchline.
You know, I think the Dolphins will be disappointed. They had 3 consecutive restarts themselves down the other end, and they've come up with an error, or they just didn't do enough on that second kick. The Broncos have gone piggyback, 3 consecutive restarts, and all of a sudden they've gone over for a try. So I'll be disappointed the men in red. They would have thought that they'd be the first point scorers. But what about Staggs? 4 tries in his first 4 games. The Broncos have struggled in the opening couple of weeks, but he hasn't been. He's been on fire.
Dolphins with the restart, caught on the goal line by Anderson, and first carry up to the 10. Sorry, Billy.
I was going to say, great read by Ezra Mann. Pull the trigger, you said early. Lovely weighted kick. Great work by the young 5'8".
Jensen first run, Ricky's second run. Still about 15 from their own line, the Broncos. Willison play 3, left edge and just beyond the 20. He'll get to his feet and play the ball there. Pakes passes infield to Piakura, and Brendan Piakura stands in a 3-man Dolphins tackle just beyond the 30. Asked to play the ball. Pace gives it to Carrigan, to the right, through the hands. Reynolds to Walsh. Walsh puts the little step on. Buffets into a couple of tacklers, though. Farnworth there to put him down. On halfway, 15 in from the right. Pakes passes infield to Reynolds. End of the set. Reynolds bombs from halfway. Pretty shallow. Comes down about 22 metres out. The hammer catches it, but Mam tackles him immediately. And Tabuai Fido will play it. A dozen in from the left wing side, 22 from his own line as Cobbo runs infield. And he's lost the ball in contact, Selwyn Cobbo. A mistake from a man who was basically forced to find greener pastures, having lost his position in the Broncos' best 17 in their run to the premiership last year, and he's made a mistake there.
And he's looked great too in season 2026 at Redcliffe. He's been a star. He looks great, looks hungry, he's fit, but that's a big mistake. And right now they're on the back foot here, the Finns. The Bronx are coming, and that man Reece Walsh is going to be dangerous in this set of 6.
Scrum 25 out and to centre field off the hands into Willison's carry. He's tackled 22 metres out as he plays it to Pakes. Carrigan at the line, passes to the right. Reynolds gives it on to Mam, and Cobbo comes in to crunch him. Nice one-on-one tackle. Mam will play it 15 metres out in the right. Pakes passes 1 man infield to Jensen. Corey Jensen takes 3 men to deck. He'll get to his feet and play the ball, only 5 out, just to the right of the uprights. To the left, Carrigan to Reynolds. Gives it on to Walsh, who's rushed at and tackled by Avarillo out in that defensive right edge there for the Finns. Played to Pakes, passes back right in centre field. Carrigan across the 10. Gives the pass to Reynolds. Passes right, catching him from Staggs. Goes in behind Anderson, who can't control it before it rolls over the touchline. A loose pass at the end of it there for the Broncos, who played 7.5 minutes. And it's the Broncos 4 leading the Dolphins 0 after the Tigers upset the Warriors 32 points to 14.
They just got too cute there, didn't they, Bill? They just needed to work it back into the middle of the field and stretch the Dolphins again. They had them backpedaling so quickly, but they just couldn't make that final pass stick.
Tell you, the person's impressing me also is Paddy Carrigan. I think the last week he's gone up a gear, and that's what the Broncos need to do, because he's so important in this team to play also that Isaiah Yo role with a great work rate.
Knowles is fine from halfway when stopped. Dolphins working their way upfield. Now Farnworth on an infield excursion. 3 Broncos around him, and Herbie Farnworth tackled for the Dolphins 42 metres from Brisbane's line, and Carrigan was sticking around in the ruck, gives away a wavy fisty, so a set restart for the Finns. Gilbert takes them to the 30, gets tackled, quick play the ball to Platt, now a dummy and straighten from Knowles, and Morgan Knowles is tackled. Centre park at 23 metres from Brisbane's line. Platt to the right, gives it on to Kafusi. Felice Kafusi is taken down, only a dozen from the Broncos line there defending the Caxton Street end. Platt blindside right to the hammer, inside border Avarillo, he buffets off the tackle of Piakura, is finished off by Ricky. We'll play it 8 metres out. Platt open and left side for Knowles to Katoa. Huge hole for Nicarima, and Cody Nicarima goes in for a try.
Staggs is going, something's wrong there. And you can see the halfback, the captain's probably said, wait on, this can't have happened. It's either the worst read of all time or someone's been taken out because that hole was massive. Well done, Nicarima and the Finns, but watching the replays just looked too easy, Q.
Well, was there an obstruction? Oh, perhaps.
Yeah, oh.
I'd argue that Reynolds initiated that contact.
Well,
That is
he's overrun the line, hasn't he, Zane, and run into the defender.
That's the question's going to be asked.
He's come in there, Adam Reynolds,
Yeah.
and the pass has gone out the back. That's a fair try. I can't see how they take that away from the Finns.
So we're getting replays here.
He's committed himself, Reynolds. He's double planted Reynolds. He's basically, he hasn't been taken out. He stood and there was a collision, but I don't reckon, I agree with what Zane's saying there, that Reynolds read that he...
Here we go, though.
Here we go. But the problem is the player's got to run through the line. So the player's got to run through the line, but if Reynolds provides basically a barrier, how do you run through the line? Like, that's the problem.
Connolly, he's required to run at space. He runs at the body of Adam Reynolds. Adam Reynolds doesn't make a defensive decision and continues to compete.
Disagree.
Cody Nicarima takes this next hole and gains an advantage. We have a decision.
Now, I think that's to the letter of the law correct, and to the letter of the law, a very cunning piece of defensive play from Adam Reynolds.
But as I said, he's planted himself, Reynolds.
Yeah.
And
So it's no try. No try.
I can tell you the Dolphins bench, they are filthy.
yeah.
But at the line runner was Connolly Lemuelu, who's got to be smart enough not to run into him.
Well, if you look at Lemuelu, he's not actually looking, he's looking at the ball. He doesn't know Reynolds is there. So,
But he's not allowed to run into him even if he doesn't know he's there.
But if the defender makes himself a target, then how do you not run into him, too? That's the problem with the rule.
Yeah, but there is a problem with the rule, which Adam Reynolds is very good at exploiting.
You're right.
He's smart enough to do that. Do you get what I'm saying?
yes.
In the spirit of the game, was he going to stop Nicarima? No. In the spirit of the rules, have the referees done the right thing there? A really interesting one.
It's a question. You're right, but Lemuelu didn't know he was there, even though he did know he was there. But
So no try, remains Broncos 4-0. You got a thought, 0467 920 222. 10 minutes play. Brisbane with the ball as Knowles comes in and rockets into Willison. Big first contact. Finished off there by Lemuelu and also Gilbert. Played to Pakes. 45 from the Dolphins line. Broncos with the ball through Carrigan, and he's put to deck on the red stripe of the 40 at the southern end of Lang Park on this gorgeous Friday night. Down to the left, Reynolds. His ball almost put Willison through. Great tackle from Finay Fuiagi to stop him on the left there. 25 out. Blindside given to Mam. Chips in behind the line, and it's knocked on by Mariner, flying in the contest there.
so he got on Broncos, I think.
Yeah, he got the best piece of it.
Yes.
Jumping in the air, Dean Mariner, against Asako, I think it was, but he couldn't control it to deck.
And Mariner had the advantage. He was coming forward, jumped perfect, well timed, and luckily for the Finns, they got out of trouble there.
Hometown decision, says one text. Well, that's an interesting one.
It's hard to say. Whose home is it? Yeah.
We're used to getting those types of texts, Zano, aren't we, on a Friday night here?
Oh, boys, seriously, I'm like I'm in Disneyland here. This is just the best ever. And before we keep going, congratulations to the newest life member of the North Sydney Bears, Billy Moore. I just needed to say that. Enjoying this game of football, but we've got an absolute legend beside you, kid.
Yeah, we knew it already, but well done, William. Another honour for you as Katoa kicks downfield at the end of the set from the Finns. They only got to the 40. It's taken out on the left. 4-0 to the Bronx, 11 minutes played after the Tigers beat the Warriors 32-14. Home team, that's Brisbane tonight, the Broncos. They've got it through Anderson just beyond the 30. Plays the ball there to Reynolds, gives it one man to the right for the run of Farnworth, and he's pushed back and a solid tackle there. Great work from Farnworth and Platt. Those two are among the great head-to-head matchups of this contest. Great tackle there. Now Anderson up to the 40 next play. Bronx trying to run downfield, Carrigan with a run up to halfway. 3 around Pat Carrigan, a couple of post-contact meters before being ordered to play it. It's the last 45 from the Dolphins line. Reynolds with a high, deep kick downfield. It's caught by Tabuai Fido, 5 from his own line. He's got 3 men in front of him and takes the tackle. Finns will start this set 15 from their own line. 4-0 Broncos, 12 minutes played, NRL Friday on ABC Sport.
In lieu of your comment, you're right, Q. This set centre battle, Stags versus Farnworth. It's international standard. They are two superb centres going head-to-head. It's brilliant to watch.
Now here's Farnworth again running down the middle third. That's a tackle which has gone beyond the horizontal.
I don't think it's any more than a penalty, but Willison...
Jordan Ricky, I think, was the one that got under his legs.
Yeah.
Willison was in it too.
Isn't it amazing, Zano? I think he's the most consistent player for getting his nose through. Herbie Farnworth, every carry he has, he gets his nose through, bumps someone off, makes himself incredibly hard to tackle. He's a phenomenon.
You know, Billy, apparently he does more agility work than any other player in the NRL. He's been doing it since he was 14 years of age. That's why he's so good on his feet and why he's able to beat so many players.
So penalty Dolphins, man not put on report. They kick downfield, get cheap territory. First tackle, new set, Kafusi, 40 metres from the Broncos line. Now Knowles receives off the left, gives it on to Gilbert. Gilbert tackled down low by Ricky. Stop 30 metres out and a hold down from Reynolds. So 6 more on the set restart as infield comes Finay Fuayaki, 22 out, went tackle, Plath out of dummy half, good quick play, the ball to the left. Knowles gives to Nicarima, on to Farnworth, draws a man, passes to Cobbo, Cobbo tackled over the touchline by the shifting Broncos right side defence.
Great deed by the Bronx. They're our two outside players. Stags and Anderson. Mr. Anderson. Well done. That's great work. Farnworth, Cobbo, I reckon they both thought we're going to score here, but great deed.
Poor old Mr. Anderson is actually talking like this at the moment because he just had a little bit of a problem with his orchestra.
Oh, okay.
But apart from that, great tackle, and yet the Dolphins, Herbie Farnworth once again making something out of nothing.
He's getting his right thigh strapped, Grant Anderson. Bronx have got the ball on their own line. It's in the hands of Mariner out on the left edge.
He's coming with his squad, Mr. Anderson, Grant Anderson, and he's quietly going about his job, but taking Shibasaki's role in a roundabout sort of way. He's made every post a winner, hasn't he?
Playing in his first battle tonight. There's a few that are playing in their first battle. There's only a handful that have played in them all, as Pakes delivers left for Walsh. Inside the 40, he kicks downfield, but it won't flirt with the touchline. Goes over the head of Tabuai Fido. He has to gather it right on his goal line, the hammer. He's got Carrigan in front of him, gets around him. Can't get around the second wave of the chase, though, with Ezra Mam to put him down a dozen from the southern in-goal area. Broncos lead 4-0. It's NRL Friday on ABC Sport. And if you missed the news earlier on, Anthony Seibold, Manly Warringah parting ways with their coach only 3 games into the 2026 season. We'll bring you more as it happens here across this weekend on ABC Sport as Sarko gets to the 30. Now Farnworth down the middle third gains 10. He's been busy already. Quick to his feet to play it to Platt. Gives it off his left shoulder. Gilbert takes the ball over halfway and he'll get to his feet and play it about 49 from the Bronx line. Black passes right for a kick from Katoa at the end of the set. It's a high, deep kick from the young halfback and skipper. Caught comfortably by Karapani, defensive left edge, 10 from his own line. Only a gain of 5 metres before being tackled by the next wave of defence.
It's high quality, great line speed. Great X factor. Here we go with Walsh, but you just see it's almost an arm wrestle phase here, Q. Back and forward, who's going to blink first?
Very high-paced game as Stags on the right edge runs into 3 defenders. Plath is there along with Farnworth and Gilbert. It's played to Ricky, who runs out of dummy half. Runs into Knowles and Kafusi, and they need prep from Lemuelu to stop him 9 from halfway.
Fair comment last week was his best game in 2 years.
Now to the left, Reynolds has it, shows it, gives it to Mam. Pass to the edge, Karapani's over halfway. He's got men in front of him, in behind, beats them both. Over the 30, Karapani comes to the hammer. Tabuai Fido makes the tackle. Great run, Karapani, 20 out in the left, plays the ball quickly, pass right in centre field for Mam, kicks for the right wing, intercepted by Cobbo. Cobbo's then nailed by Stags in the tackle. Well, there was Stags and Anderson on that 40-metre kick cross field, and Cobbo got in the way, and just as well he did, because it was 2-on-1 against him out there, as now the Finns back to the middle of the park, and the Hammers tackled centre field 12 out from his own line.
I tell you something else, Bill, if they don't make that tackle, he's down the other end. He could see that try line down at that northern end, Selwyn Cobbo, after that catch.
Yeah, Ezra Mam saw him out of position, but to Cobbo, this is where he's a fitter player this year. He was out of position, he knew it. He ran flat out to get to the left-hand edge because you can see that there's trouble coming.
Left side shift from the Finns. Farnworth's up to halfway before running into Stags and Anderson, and they put him down. Farnworth Farnworth, 5 in from touch on the left, 45 for the Broncos line. 23 minutes left in the first half, and the Broncos lead 4-0. It's the last. Oh, Nicorima's rushed that, tried to run it, and then he passes it to the ground. Farnworth rolls it between his legs with a little rake backwards to try and kick it forward, so to speak. He was facing his own goal line. Anyway, Anderson's got it. That's a mucked up end of the set from the Finns, and the Broncos have now got it as Willison runs in field.
No one was on the same page as Nicorima. He saw opportunity on the short side, but no one went with him, and he's passed it to nobody.
Walsh passes left edge, and forward goes Piakura. Tackled 15 in from touch on the left, 40 metres from the Dolphins line. Pates passes infield for Carrigan. Brisbane on the attack again. To the right, I'll go over to Reynolds. He's wrapped up one-on-one. Good defensive read from Knowles to swarm over the Broncos skipper. Now Pates gives it left shoulder to Jensen into the defensive line. Platt there leading the tackling brigade, which also included Finay Fuiaki. Now to the left, end of the set. Here's Pates giving it to Walsh, who mishits the left-footed bomb. He's kicked it out on the full. Or was it on the full?
Bounce.
On the bounce, just. But no one jumped for it because he mishit it.
Well, it's actually a breather. This game, as you said, so fast-paced, Stu. We'll go back to Selwyn Cobbo. Great read by Ezra Mann. Selwyn Cobbo was out of position, and then he sprinted 40 metres. You could just see what Mann was going to do. That was a great diffusion, and as Zano said, he could have went the length of the field, but it was a great tackle by Staggs and Anderson.
Finns with the footy. Avarillo tackle. 15 in from touch on the right. Midway goal line and halfway. Plays the ball to Plath. And now surging forward, Finay Fuiaki, who's tackled a dozen inside Finn's territory out on that right edge. Plath distributes infield to Knowles. Knowles takes it into the defensive line. Very experienced man, 10 years at St Helens. He's played in some big games, but this is a big one for him tonight. His first battle to the left, Katoa, Nicorima, on to Farnworth, steps off his left, runs into the tackle of Staggs and Ricky. They drag him too long in the tackle, and a wavy fisty from Ash Klein, 6 more. Lemu Elu on the straightening run for the Finns. 21 metres out, slightly left edge, went tackle, plays it to Platt, passes right in centre field for Gilbert. Tom Gilbert churns into the defence, takes the tackle, centre field, a dozen out. One of the better chances for the Finns on the attack to the left, Katoa. He runs at the line, he takes the tackle. Another set restart coming. Broncos offside, I think, on that occasion. Platt to the right for Knowles, who runs at Piakura, who drags him down. Does enough to make the tackle, 2 metres out. Platt now back to left and centre field. Katoa to Nicorima, to the edge for Farnworth. Staggs has got him, but Farnworth flips it back to Nicorima. Running laterally across the 10, shows it, puts his man through the hole with a forward pass.
Oh, that was just
Finay Fuiaki, the beneficiary. He was in, but it was an illegal pass from Cody Nicorima, and the Broncos survive. Bronx 4, Finns 0, battle 7. NRL Friday on ABC Sport, 20 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, that's only slightly forward, but it is forward. I agree with that. But Zano, the two edge-back rows for the Finns, Lemu Elu and Finay Fuiaki, they've improved so much in season 2026.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You know the other thing? If you watch when they do a set restart, they're the first two that take the ball because they've got great agility, they've got great speed, and they just work it through the middle and they just clean up all the metres.
Bronx win the scrum. Anderson first tackle on the 10, and then Ricky takes Brisbane just beyond the 20-metre line. 4-0 to the Broncos. Staggs the try scorer after 4 minutes. Another set restart here for the Bronx as right edge and Staggs goes forward. Tackle 15 from halfway. Pace gives it one man infield to Anderson. Anderson put down by 3 defenders. Grant Anderson, 50th NRL game tonight for him as he plays the ball to Pace to the left for Reynolds. Now Walsh passes to the infield line there of Piakura. Good tackle from Platt, who met him on that line, got some help from others to stop him. Bronx 42 metres out to the left, it's Walsh, doesn't like it that way, or steps through the tackle of Platt, then eventually tackled by Lemu Elu and jumped on by Katoa. 30 metres out, and that second effort from Katoa enough to give the Broncos a set restart. Jensen now receives, and Corey Jensen tackled. He's played in all of the 6 previous editions, Corey Jensen. He plays at 20 out to the left, Carrigan to Mam, on through the hands there to Mariner, dancing out on that left edge, now comes in laterally, Dean Mariner, running across the 20 before being tackled around the legs there by Lemu Elu. Played to Pace, given right for Reynolds. Short ball, Ricky crashes through Nicorima and Plath, but loses his footing, got tackled 11 metres out. Dummy half scoop, 3 men underneath. The man trying to get in there. I think it's Pakes. Yeah, it was. They had 3 men around. Just had to double check. He's held up. Out to the 10 for the play the ball.
Oh, they're on a knife's edge here. The Finns are running out of gas. Can the Bronx penetrate and score?
Left and centre field for Reynolds across the 10. Double cut out to Walsh. Floating ball to the edge. Karapani received. One-handed put down in the corner with his left mitt. What a finish. What a try. Josiah Karapani received the floating pass and had to swap the ball from right hand, open side to blind side. One-handed plant with his left hand. Brilliant skill. 8-0 Bronx kick to come.
Well, you can just see they said they were on knife's edge. The Finns, they're running the petrol. And what they did really well, Reynolds saw it as he always does, got a sweeping left-hand play onto the fullback, Reece Walsh. What a finish. Great pass from Walsh. A double cut-out floater, Zeno. But then what you rightly called the movement of the ball from the fullback from one end to the other and the finish. Outstanding.
Absolutely. Just shows the skill level that the guy's got. Doesn't get everything right, but most of what he does is absolutely brilliant. And what about that put down by Josiah Karapani? Although we're going to go upstairs, has he touched the whitewash as he's put it down? They're worried about the touchline here, boys.
Well, as soon as they get to this spot, you know it's no try.
As he landed,
Play's been cleared in the lead-up. Just looking at the ball and the foot in touch.
Wyatt Raymond in the bunker. No, he's got that down.
Yeah, he's up.
Vision on the right shows the ball is up, and vision on the left shows the foot is up. Going one frame forward.
Oh, okay. Vision on, yep.
We now see that the foot and the ball go down simultaneously. This is into touch. We have a decision.
No try. Okay.
Can I be devil's advocate? Is that too much analysis?
There is enough evidence to overturn that decision.
You know what? So there used to be the benefit of the doubt for the attacker, didn't it?
How about, we talk about perfection with these video replays, and we're never going to get perfection in sport, let alone life. If you can't get it in life, you're not going to get it in sport. But I reckon that's 50% a try, and Staggs' was 50% a try. And guess how many tries they've got out of those two? One.
Yep. Fair bump.
Is that fair enough, Zeno?
Yeah, and
a bit philosophical of me, but I reckon they were lucky to get the Stags one, and they were probably unlucky not to get that one.
And I think they were lucky to get the Nicarima no try too, so maybe they're actually ahead the Bronx.
See, anyway, it's 4-0, not 8-0, 4-0, and there's 17 and a half minutes left. This high-octane Battle 7 that you're hearing on NRL Friday on ABC Sport with yours truly, Quentin Hull, alongside Billy Moore and Zane Bojack, as Plath runs out of dummy half, almost found a hole there for the Finns, but taken 7 from halfway on the tackle of Ricky. Played to Nicarima, one man infield to Knowles. I've been impressed with his first half hour or so.
Agreed.
Morgan Knowles will play at 45 metres from the Broncos line. Plath gives it to Nicarima at the end of the set. Nicarima from 45 out, kicks down the attacking left side, and Anderson is caught with the ball. Cobbo charged into his legs and made a legal tackle, but Anderson was in a vulnerable position and is hurt.
I hope it's a collision injury, but he's putting his hand on his knee, Q.
Yeah. And
It's unlucky.
it wasn't in the air. His leg was on the ground, and Cobbo's got every right to tackle his leg. But his leg was in a vulnerable position and is buckled, and he's holding his left knee, Grant Anderson.
Yeah, it looks bad, and they said completely legal. He's dived in, Cobbo. They said it's the fittest I've seen Cobbo in years. He's got his extra energy, and he's used it. He's got up. He didn't actually compete for the kick because he couldn't get there in time, but as soon as Anderson caught it, he's dived in, and the collision is right on the most vulnerable part of probably the leg of, unfortunately, Grant Anderson. And
This is looking serious, too.
So there are trainers around the left leg of Grant Anderson here.
It's amazing the pace of this game. He's in so much pain too, Grant Anderson. He's almost vomiting. He's in that much pain. I just wonder, I mean, usually, Billy, isn't it, that when you're in a massive amount of pain, that it's not the ACL? Let's hope.
Yes.
Well, the last thing the Broncos fans want to see here is they don't want to see walk from the ground, because if you've done your ACL, then you can walk once the pain goes. If he limps, it's a different kind of ligament.
It's the PCL and the MCL, isn't it, Bill?
Yeah.
It's the painful one.
yeah,
Well, no, the ACL's like you shot in your knee, and then once the pain goes, you can use it, but not to the extent of being any great...
And the outcome of that is it's 9 months.
Yeah.
If it's the other ligaments, we're talking weeks.
yeah.
And remember, he's been the subject of discussions of going to the Warriors next season as well as a replacement with Mitch Barnett coming to the Broncos. So I would hate this to be the last time he's worn a Broncos jersey. He's limping off here now. Let's hope it's not as bad as it looks.
So I know what it does do. It gives Shibasaki a chance now to get himself back in. He's fallen out of favour at Red Hill. This is his chance now to put his hand up and say, hey, don't forget I'm here. He's jumped as the replacement.
So left knee for Grant Anderson, and we'll give you further news as it comes to hand. Zane Bojack on the touchline, keeping an eye on it. 17 minutes left in the first half, and the Broncos lead 4-0. Thank you for your texts coming in, but there's just so much happening. We haven't been able to get to them just yet. Nonetheless, we appreciate them. Keep them coming. 0467 920 222. Mariner to the 20 now. Carrigan gets an offload away, about 25 from his own line. Second phase here, and Mam goes on a scoot, only to be dragged down by the tackle of Fino Fuiaki. 15 from halfway. Played to Pakes, given on to Willison. Chugs into the tackle of Gilbert and others. Thinks of an offload, but decides not to. His arm was free for a moment. Didn't give the pass. He's 5 from halfway. Plays the ball. Walsh gets barreled by Gilbert after he kicks downfield. And Carrigan comes to remonstrate. Meanwhile, Hammer's got the ball, is running upfield. I think the referee's blown the whistle for penalty. Hammer was just running to make sure he got to the duster, although it's calmed down pretty quickly.
Yeah, Gilbert has gone off reservation here. He's hit Walsh.
I don't think it was late.
Well, no, but it was always going to be a penalty because he's hit him and he's actually in mid-air, he's flowing, so yeah, fair enough.
He did everything right rather than put his arms around him in a tackling motion.
Should have held
He got him in time. It wasn't late, but it was a...
the actual look of the tackle.
Yeah, it's a no-arms tackle rather than a tackle. So the timing was okay. It wasn't a shoulder charge, but he bumped him rather than tackled him.
Yeah, and
If he had tackled him, it's all fair.
Norman do a hold and cradle him, but they didn't do that. But what happens? Obviously now 32 metres out, centre field. Sure he'll go to 2 here, I think, Reynolds.
So Ben Tolte's just come onto the field as well. So that's 2 of the 4. Shibasaki and Tolte have been activated.
Yeah, I love this. He hasn't gone the 2. They've rolled the dice, the Bronx, they gave him a shot.
And they gave the penalty from where the kick ended, which was about 35 metres out. They've gained another 10 with a kick. Start sets 25 metres out. Fresh man on, Tolte with the first carry. He's 22 metres from the Finns line. 16 minutes left in the first half. 4-0 to the Broncos. To the left, Reynolds. Offers it up to the straightening run of Jensen. Brought down, centre field. 16 metres from the southern end goal of Lang Park. Played to Pakes, given left. Reynolds, suspect ball to the left edge. Ref lets it go. Piakura gets tackled. Only 7 metres out, 10 in from the left. Pakes passes back right in centre field from Mam to Reynolds. Floating ball to Carrigan. Decides to straighten it up. There's a wall of red defenders in front of him, and Carrigan's going to have to take the tackle. Centre park at 12 metres from the Dolphins line. Played to Pace, given right for Reynolds. Inside line, Tolte smashed in the tackle of the Hammer, who read that pass along with Knowles. Last play, Brisbane. It's pass left by Pakes to Reynolds. Reynolds grab it to himself. Gathers, and the master scores a battle special. The Broncos skipper, in the spirit of the great number 7s from Red Hill, has scored a great solo derby try to make it 8-0 kick to come.
Well, in your call then, Q, the previous tackle you said, a great tackle by the Hammer. Alarm bell, because he's making that tackle, he can't be defending, and Reynolds knew that, but his brain is so quick. So obviously he knows straight away, I will put it over him, which he doesn't do that often, because he knew the Hammer was out of posse. The last person he gets near him was the Hammer screaming across there, because he knew he'd opened the door saying no, and Reynolds said, thank you, I'm walking straight through this. Great work by Reynolds.
There's been so much soap opera around the Broncos. You almost forget that last week he was under pressure, Adam Reynolds, from Gordon Tallis, former Broncos captain, questioning his commitment going down and doing a Fox League appearance with that rib injury. Well, I'll tell you what, the week off's done him a good job, because that was outstanding. Taking it to the line, putting a little kick in that Alan Langer would have been proud of, and then regathering and scoring his 55th career try and his first of the season. He's about to knock it over 2Q.
Slight angle to the left with the conversion attempt. He kicks the conversion of his own try. 1 from 2 with the boot tonight. And it's the Broncos 10 leading the Dolphins 0 with 13 minutes and 67 seconds remaining in the first half. Let's get around the grounds. Earlier in Super Rugby, the Highlanders beat Moana Pacific at 39-19. Half-time, Waratahs 21 lead the Brumbies 14. You can hear that on the ABC Sport Extra button. Repeating, half-time, Waratahs 21 lead the Brumbies 14. Game 2 of the NBL Finals Series, Kings are up a game to 0 over Adelaide. Third quarter, Kings 57 lead the 36ers 55. Second quarter of the AFL, close to half-time. Collingwood 6-3-39 lead Greater Western Sydney 3-5-23. Couple of soccer scores for you. Scoreless at the moment in that friendly between the Socceroos and Cameroon. A-League women first half, Raw 2 lead the Glory 0 as the Broncos have got it off the kick-off. And a penalty for a crusher tackle going the Broncos' way. I think it was Flegler who's now out there. Jeez, he's out there. He's giving away penalties straight away. Penalty to the Bronx.
As Cruz's contest has been, Q, 10-0 Bronx, you just sense they're really starting to put the squeeze on the Finns, because every time they venture down the Dolphins' end of the ground, they look so much more threatening than what the Finns do at the other end. So as the game goes on, fatigue sets in, those gaps get a little bit wider. I'll be concerned. Wolf needs to make sure that the next team to score is the Finns.
Ricky with the football as the Bronx didn't gain too much on that kick downfield, but Ricky now tackled 6 metres inside his own half. Plays it to Pakes, given on to Tolte. Ben Tolte, he with a good carry there. A little ripple of applause from this big house at Lang Park. Mainly pro-Broncos because it's their home game. About 45 out went tackle. Now right side shift for Walsh. He's dancing, trying to do some things, but Nikarima's there to stop him. And Walsh will play it for Brisbane. 15 in from the right and 35 from the Finns line. Pakes passes infield for Carrigan. One out run into a 4-man tackle from the Dolphins. Last place as referee Klein. Broncos 30 out in the right. Pass to left and centre field for Reynolds. Puts up a bomb. It'll come down under the black dot. Beautifully caught by the hammer. He had a challenger there from Walsh, but Tabuai Fido catches it and has tackled 10 from his own line. Plays the ball to Katoa. Gives it right edge for Osako. Breaks a tackle of Piakura. Links up with Amarillo. Amarillo to halfway. Man's chasing. Ankle taps him. 30 out. But Amarillo gets out. Stumbles. Man comes again. Gets him again. Ankle tap. Both men down. Both men up. And another tackle. Out on the right, the Finns. Now they pass the centre field for Farnworth. Farnworth, he bounces off tacklers. And eventually Pakes. Oh, he's wrestling with him. Farnworth looking to get the offload away. And he does 10 metres out to the hammer. Pumps off one. Keeps going and is tackled. Only 3 metres from the goal line. Just left of the uprights. Dolphins looking for their first points. Platt gives it on to Gilbert. 6 more coming up for the Finns here. As Gilbert has tackled 5 from the goal line at the Caxton Street end. Plays the ball to Platt. Give it to Flegler. Flegler with a hit and spin. He can't get through Ricky. Tom Flegler, first time playing against the Broncos as a Finn. Now Platt passes right. Gives it on to Katoa. Offers it up to a charging infield run from Finay Fuiaki, who bumped off Jensen before the second wave of defence got him. Carrigan stops him under the dot. Platt passes right. 6 more again. Katoa to Tabuai Fido. Beautiful ball. Puts Osako in the right corner. And the Finns strike. Jermaine Osako scores for the Dolphins. And it's 10-4 Broncos. Kick to come. 11 minutes remain first half.
Right, Osako finished it, but he also started. They came out of their end, and Osako was the one that put his nose through. A little flick pass out to Amarillo. Great chase by man. He didn't give in. He thought no chance. And Amarillo stumbled, bubbled, and obviously went to ground. And in the ensuing couple of tackles, the Finns went up a gear. And for this contest, it was fantastic to see the try scored in the end. They saw the space on the right-hand side. They've gone down that lane. A lovely cutout ball by the fullback. and in the hands of Asako. Great finish. That's what the Finns do better than anybody else. They've got strike power, especially in their back five. And when they unleash it, Zeno, there is nothing prettier in rugby league than watching this Finns team carve teams up.
Interested to know what Brad Cullen's got in terms of the restart counter. My rough draft was about 9, but I tell you what, they just can't stop it. Neither side can stop it through the middle. And you mentioned, before Finny Fuiaki and Lemuelu, and then of course up the back, you're getting offloads away to Farnworth and also to the Hammer, and they just motor through there. So that was a marvellous tackle by, of course, by Ezra Mann, but they just couldn't hold out. And we've got a ball game here, guys. Great to see. I wonder if Asako can knock this one over.
Askin, you shall receive 11 restarts in the game, 7 for the Dolphins, 4 for the Broncos. Jermaine Asako, one of only a half dozen players who have played in all 6 previous battles of Brisbane. His teammates Tabuai Fido and Ray Stone are also in that category, as Asako from out on the right touchline, off the upright, converts his own try. Asako with the conversion, so he's now 16 of 18 with the boot to start the year. Terrific goal kicker. And it's Broncos 10, Dolphins 6, with 9.5 minutes left in the first half.
Q, I've often said if I'm going to have someone to kick for my life, it's that bloke.
Yeah.
I love Asako. She's the strike of the ball. What a great try. And I mentioned how important it was, because the game was starting to get away from the Finns. From a contest point of view, it's gone now back up again, 10-6 for the Bronx, 9.5 to go in this first half. Bring it on, I love it.
Walsh with the restart, and Cobbo's going to catch on the goal line. And first carry just beyond the 10-metre line. Dolphins with the footy. And Molo's, that's Frank Molo out there. Yeah, so Molo's been activated, Stone's been activated, Flegler's been activated, so only one more allowed. You've got to keep across that these days. There's an offload from Flegler, right edge, gives it on to Finne Fuiaki. He has been a revelation at the start of the season. Tackled 12 from halfway, 12 in from right. Plath goes blindside, gives it on to Avarillo, but a one-on-one tackle there. Good job from Mariner to stop him. Past infield to Ray Stone. As mentioned, you wouldn't think he's one of the 3 Dolphins out there that's played all 6 previous battles. Plays it 40 metres out. Last play for the Finns. A bomb from Katoa will come down 10 metres out. Walsh outlet by the Hammer, but the Hammer knocks it on. He just couldn't take it cleanly. It was a clean contest between the 2 flying fullbacks, and the Hammer got 80% of it, but couldn't control the catch.
He loves that. He's the best in the game. From mine, he had a few little bumps on the way through. A couple of Broncos players didn't illegally check him, but they gave him a little bit of a nudge, so it was great that he was able to contest the ball and nearly got it.
G'day to Peter from Oran Park. Thanks for the call. Looking forward to the game. Bronx should win. Barrington from Blackheath, he reckons that Walsh milked that penalty when he got knocked over by Gilbert before. There's heaps of messages. Thank you. 0467 920 222. This fast-paced game, keeping you up to speed with your thoughts and with what's happening here, and the big news of the night repeating. Anthony Seibold sacked from Manly Warringah only 3 games into the season after the Tigers beat the Warriors 32-14. Walsh kicks downfield into the city, was inside the 40, doesn't go near the touchline. It's let bounce by the Hammer on his 10, gathers it on the half volley, gives it on there to Cobbo, and Cobbo tackled for the Dolphins on his own 20 at the southern end of the park. Given one man infield to Asako. He's short of the 30 when tackled by Pates. Now, out a dummy half. The Plath pass was a bit suspect according to the crowd. Ref doesn't blow it up. Was it forward, Zeno? It was forward. Yeah, Ref didn't get it. Hammer 5 from halfway. So a bit of a rub of the green there going the way of the Dolphins as Flegler rolls down the middle third. Taken 45 metres from the Broncos line. Plays it to Plath, given left for Katoa. On there to Lemuelu. Taken 15 in from the left. 33 out. Last play here for the men from Redcliffe. Katoa puts up a shallow bomb. It'll come down 15 out again. It's Walsh leaping. He knocks it on. Taken by Lemuelu. It bounced 10 metres away from the leaping man. Lemuelu to the right. Gives to Katoa. Here on to Avarillo. Doesn't give the pass to the edge. Steps in field. Avarillo's got men around him. Then loses the ball. 10 from his own line. No, it was slapped out by a Bronco. Not a knock on, I think. Yeah, it's going to be a Dolphins ball. Avarillo lost it. Cleaned up by Ricky of the Broncos.
Walsh wants something contested. He's blowing up Walsh. He's telling Reynolds to
Walsh knocked the ball out of Avarillo's hand.
Yeah, but I think he wanted the kick contested. I think that's what he was pointing to. He was saying, give me the kick contest again, Reynolds, but he didn't do that.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent contest for mine, first watch, but big opportunity for the Finns now. 10 out, 10 in, set of 6 from the scrum base with the firepower they've got. Oh, what a game!
NRL Friday on ABC Sports, 6 minutes to the break. Broncos lead at 10-6. Finns with a scrum feed out in the right and they win it. Katoa runs infield and takes the tackle. The young skipper, the young halfback for the men from Redcliffe, Isaiah Katoa, plays it to Plath, gives it to Molo on a one-out surge, but he runs straight into the tackle of Tolte and also Carrigan. Also helped out there by Piakura. A metre from the goal line. Played to Plath, pass left and centre field. Katoa on the Flegler. Great tackle, Reynolds.
Offside.
Oh, he jarred the ball free, but the referee says the Broncos were offside. Penalty to the Dolphins.
Well, let's see what the Finns do here. Do they take the 2? Or they roll the dice?
What would you do, Bill?
I'd roll the dice.
10-6?
Yeah.
No, they take the tap and go. So Ray Stone, the settling hit up, and he's held up. As you can hear the screeching voice of Ash Klein, the ref, and they held on too long. 6 more. Ping, ping, and a straightening run here from Molo. Just a metre to the right of the uprights and a metre out. He'll get to his feet and play it to Plath. Passes left for Katoa. His pass is knocked back by Nicarima, cleaned up by Farnworth. That was Menti, but Farnworth swarmed immediately by Staggs, and now they're back 18 metres out. The Dolphins lost play on that. Now, Gilbert, he wanted to initiate contact with Staggs there, who came in to tackle his ex-teammate, and they tangle the turf 9 metres out. Plath to the left, Nicarima holds it, gives it. Farnworth on the inside line, runs laterally across the 10, passes to Flegler. Flegler's tackled and lost the ball, trying to get a one-handed offload away. It's been pinched by Piakura, and the Broncos have got the ball as Walsh chucks it to the left edge immediately for Shibasaki. He'll be tackled 20 from touch on the left and 13 metres out. 4 minutes to the break, and I'll tell you, Billy, the players won't be the only people wanting the breather at halftime. This has been frenetic. 10-6 Brisbane.
Yeah, a commentator's curse is non-stop these days in the NRL, but it's great to watch. There's nothing given. There's such a small margin of error in today's game.
And just with play simmering down, I can tell you that Green Anderson won't be back to you. He's got a medial ligament, which probably means about 5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, medial on the left leg, thank you, or left knee, thank you, Zane. Bojak on the touchline. Reynolds gets the halfway. Rubbers downfield. And Tabuai Fido's got a moment or two to watch it bounce and settle before he picks it up and gets tackled. Midway goal line and halfway.
I almost find that the Finns attacking machine doesn't work well close to the try line. It's better being 30-40 out.
Cobbo to the 30, steps off the mark, ref lets him go. Plath out of dummy half, runs forward, now passes right for Tabuai Fido, gives it onto Osako, right edge, but he's tackled there. And quick to play the ball, Shibasaki made the tackle, Avarillo dummy half, gives it on to Fine Fuiaki over the halfway and up to the 40. Tackled 39 metres from the Broncos line, played to Plath, given left for Stone, now to Katoa, second man Nicarima, left edge run, Nicarima dragged down from behind by Reynolds. Tackle that needed to be made, 22 out, 10 in from the left. Last play, Dolphins, back to Katoa, who chips in behind the line, another contestable. Walsh leaps, so too Cobbo. Ricochet ball, taken by Mariner of the Broncos. Play on, Mariner breaks the tackle. Mariner gets to the 40 in his own half, he gets to halfway, gets past Katoa, but can't get past Osako.
Gee, the Katoa is quick.
2 Finns chasing him, Mariner's got it out on the left, 40 from the Finns line, big pass to right in centre field. Mam puts Tarpa through a hole, pass infield, knocked on by Mam, picked up by the Dolphins. Stone's on the kick return, he's over the 30 before being tackled just beyond the 30-metre line.
Take a breath, Hughes.
The player...
I cannot, because the game demands it, Zane. We have to keep up with this frenetic modern football. PVL at his 6 again. He's got Octane going absolutely nuts with everyone here. Over halfway away goes Platt. He spins out of the tackle of Piakura. Gives it on to Avarillo. Great ball, Finai Fuiaki. He's taken though by the tackle of Shibasaki down low and nailed around the ribcage by Walsh.
Good tackle, Walsh.
You'd reckon there'd be 90 seconds left in the game with this pace. There's 90 seconds left in the half as Nicarimo, he has to stop for a moment, almost ran an obstruction line. He's tackled. Dolphins have got it out in the left edge, 30 metres from the Broncos line. 10-6 the score line to Brisbane as forward rolls Flegler, taken 22 metres from the Broncos line. 70 seconds to go in this frenetic first half. To the right, Stone. The pass goes to Dare, cleaned up by Katoa. Given to Avarillo, space on the right. Gives it on to Asako. Steps infield, took contact. Flips it out the back. Kept it alive for Finai Fuiaki. Charged to within 5 of the line before dragged down by Pakes. Plays it to Platt. Passes left and centre field. Katoa. He's passed to Farnworth on the left edge. Doesn't like it that way. Comes back infield. Chip and chase. He chipped it straight to Walsh. Walsh catches it. Farnworth tackles him. And there's 40 seconds to the break and the Bronx are five from their own line.
So much that happens inside the last 2 sets of 6. But great play. The players are absolutely gassed. 30 seconds to go. It's been wonderful to watch.
Well, dare we say it, but we're back in the sort of 2015, 2016 genre of Brisbane v North Queensland games.
Yes.
With what we've seen in the first 40 minutes here.
The quality of the play, the strike power around the park. There's nothing in this match.
Just the pace of the game. There's almost a half pole there. Nice little inside ball carried into Tolty, but he got tackled. One play left in the half. Reynolds passes right. Staggs to halfway. Chip and chase from Staggs. And it ricochets over the touchline on the western side. And everyone can take a breath. That is half-time in Battle 7. And what a high-paced, entertaining affair it has been to this point. Broncos 10.
It's everywhere, Q. Look at this. It's like it's a war zone.
Broncos 10. Dolphins 6. Stags on 4 minutes. Reynolds on 26 minutes. The two try scorers for Brisbane. Reynolds kicking one of the two conversions. Asako on 29 minutes to try for the Finns. He converted his own work from out on the right. Oh. It's not just me, is it, Zano?
Look, honestly, this is as close, I think, in club football as you said back in those days, the Cowboys and the Broncos with that amazing Queensland derby. But this Battle of Brisbane, it's up there with all the best derbies. South Sydney versus Sydney Roosters. It's just magnificent. This is fast, entertaining, attacking football. I'm loving every minute.
Billy, a couple of texts here. I love this one. Hey, boys, we're Queenslanders travelling Australia. Sitting in the bush near Norseman in WA, dodging Cyclone NRL and the Flies. We're listening to the call on the Listen app and loving it. Love your walk, boys, from Stewie and Marissa. Go Para. Hi Q, Billy and Zano, you're all on fire tonight. Great calling. Thanks to ABC Sport. Robert from Palm Woods even sends a flower emoji. 0467 920 222. Wow, Billy Moore, 10-6 Broncos, halftime.
That game was so good, that first half. There was not, and I think it's thrown around, there was not a bad player out there. The standard is so high, it's the blanket theory is just being dragged up. Everyone is rising to the occasion. The line speed hasn't relented, but the ball movement, the creativity, as soon as someone is caught out of position, they're being made to pay or being tested. I'm just loving what I'm seeing around the park. There's so much skill, so much X factor, so much rugby league IQ on play. The game is please don't make it any faster. It's as fast as you can have it. Fatigue is setting in, but these players are able to find something extra that they just be able to cover that hole. They get up off the ground, make that extra tackle, they back their friend up. This second half, if it follows on from what we've just seen, because you will have more fatigue factor in the second half, it's going to be outstanding. And I reckon what will be the crucial part of this second half, ball control, and then what impact the rotation has, the players that are on the bench when they come back on the field, can they make a difference? Because there hasn't been a bad player out there. There's no point saying who's shone, because they all have. What a performance from both clubs.
Now, just before the news, thank you, Billy. Of course, the big news in rugby league is that Manly Warringah has parted ways with Anthony Seibold. Now, there is a statement. The Manly Warringah Sea Eagles have today confirmed that head coach Anthony Seibold will depart the club effective immediately. The Sea Eagles thank Anthony for his service and contribution to the club and wish him and his family all the best for the future. The club is disappointed with its start to the season but remains focused on making the 2026 season a success. The club will shortly confirm the appointment of an interim head coach for the remainder of the season. Chairman Scott Penn and CEO Jason King will do a media op tomorrow morning at the Penn Centre of Excellence. So that Manly statement coming in the last couple of hours when that news broke. Was it early second half of that game across the ditch where the Tigers beat the Warriors 32-14?
I think Michael Carianis, one of our esteemed journalists,
he was among the group, yep.
And I think Andrew announced it just during half-time.
Okay.
So, interesting stuff there. Is it going to be an interim coach? So obviously they don't have a head coach straight away. So you're going to have an interim coach, which will then obviously evolve into a head coach position at the start of 2027.
And what I can say is already the rumour mill is rife, and I was downstairs and saw Broncos CEO Dave Donaghy having an extended chat with Cameron Smith, who is now one of the assistant coaches at the Broncos. But among the Broncos assistants who has a strong reputation and strong links to Manly, Matt Ballin.
Yes.
So that's among the early sort of rumour mill going around. Okay, just before the news, other sport. Highlanders beat Moana Pacifica 39-19. Second half of Super Rugby, the Brumbies have levelled it up with the Tars. It's 21 all there. You can hear it on ABC. Listen. Second quarter game 2 NBL final series. Remember, it's a 5-game final series. You need to win 3 to win it. Kings are 1 up and they lead Adelaide 77-74, quarter 4 there. And that's also on ABC Listen. You look on the 891 ABC Adelaide button. A half-time AFL. Collingwood 6-3-39 lead the Giants 4-6-30. A-League Women half-time Raw 2 Glory 1 and no score in the men's friendly between Australia and Cameroon. What an NRL Friday it is on ABC Sport. Hope you're enjoying it with us. Broncos 10, Dolphins 6. Back after the news.
ABC News, hello, I'm William Howard Evans. Severe tropical cyclone Narelle is now over land after crossing the WA coast between Coral Bay and Cape Couvert as a Category 3 system. A warning zone is in place for residents between Onslow and Geraldton and extends inland to Murchison and Dalwallinu. The system is bringing very destructive wind gusts and intense rainfall, which may lead to flash flooding. Jessica Lingard from the Bureau of Meteorology says the cyclone will maintain its strength for a few more hours before it starts to weaken.
Carnarvon starting to see gusts in excess of 115 kilometres an hour now, and we are going to see those gusts increasing as that system does draw a little closer as we move through the next few hours.
WA's Department of Fire and Emergency Services says it has enough fuel to assist those affected by severe tropical cyclone Narelle. The State Emergency Service has received about 44 requests for assistance in the wake of the cyclone as interstate SES crews travel to assist. Duty Assistant Commissioner Danny Mosconi says authorities are well prepared.
Our staff in the regions have been liaising with their respective petrol stations or fuel outlets and to identify any supply concerns, and we've got a high level of confidence that the fuels levels in the towns are sufficient.
The war in the Middle East is intensifying, with new strikes on Iran, stalled ceasefire talks, and growing fears of a global energy crisis. Here's Francis Du.
Israel has launched a new wave of strikes on targets in Tehran as air raid sirens sounded in Israel and missiles were intercepted. Iran has also continued attacks across the region, with drones and missiles reported in the Gulf. Diplomatic efforts appear to have stalled, with Iran rejecting a US ceasefire proposal as Washington deploys more troops in the region. US President Donald Trump says talks are ongoing but has extended a deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, warning he will destroy the energy plants if it does not. The conflict has rattled global markets, with oil prices surging above $100 a barrel. A UN Security Council meeting is set to take place as the war approaches its first month.
The New South Wales Energy Minister is urging fuel companies to be cooperative as the conflict continues in the Middle East. In New South Wales, 347 stations are without at least one type of fuel. Penny Sharp says fuel companies will face penalties if they don't provide the government with updates.
Government needs this information. We need to be making all preparations so that we can look after the community and the businesses who are hanging off, any challenges that might be coming.
Germany's defence minister says closer military production ties with Australia will benefit both countries. Boris Pistorius today visited Ipswich, west of Brisbane, where the first batch of combat vehicles rolled off the assembly line. A letter of intent was also signed for German warhead maker TDW to manufacture missiles in Australia. Mr. Pistorius says the two nations have a shared interest.
It's about more than just manufacture. It is also about transfer of technology, about strengthening industry and about exchanging lessons learned.
British police have reopened an investigation into sexual abuse allegations against online influencer Andrew Tate. The police probed accusations made by 3 women in 2014 and 2015, but the case was closed after 4 years. The case has now been reopened a day after the police watchdog said a former detective could face gross misconduct proceedings over the original investigation. There's been a divided response to the International Olympic Committee's new gender eligibility policy. Noni Edwards explains.
The IOC is implementing new rules in time for the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. An SRY gene test will prevent transgender women and those with differences in sexual development who've gone through male puberty from competing in women's Olympic sports. Dr. Payashni Mitra is founder of Humans of Sport and says the policy is not based on evidence.
It's not science-based, it's stigma-based.
But Fiona McInerney from the UK organisation Sex Matters says the IOC has set a standard for sport worldwide.
Women's sport can only be for those who are female.
The IOC had previously left it up to sport governing bodies to determine eligibility.
And Victoria trails South Australia by 88 runs at stumps on day 2 of the Sheffield Shield cricket final at Melbourne's Junction Oval. The visitors were bowled out for 198 in their first innings. ABC News.
Get your footy fix with ABC AFL Daily Podcast. Corbin Middlemass and Ben Cameron are joined by a cast of AFL legends to pull apart the biggest stories in Aussie rules. Search for the ABC AFL Daily Podcast on ABC Listen. ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
Only 5 metres out and another ruck infringement here from the hammer. Another restart to the right. Reynolds gives it on to Mam. Grubber for Stagg and Stagg scores right near where he scored the ceiling try in the first battle. If he hasn't fumbled it in planting it.
At this stage, Katoni rips the ball. The ball doesn't come away from the hand, and then he grounds the ball in the in goal. We have a decision.
White Raven's going to give that a try. Last play, Brisbane. Pass left 5, takes to Reynolds. Reynolds grubber to himself, gathers, and the master scores a battle special. The Broncos skipper, in the spirit of the great number 7s from Red Hill, has scored a great solo derby try. Carrigan stops him under the dot. Plath passes right. 6 more again. Katoa to Tabuai Fido. Beautiful ball. Puts Osako in the right corner. And the bin strike. Jermaine Osako scores for the Dolphins.
Rugby League is on your radio.
The 2026 NRL Premiership.
ABC Sport Digital Radio
And ABC Listen.
And taking every breath possible during half-time to try and get reloaded for another 40 minutes of football. Hope you're having as much fun as we are on NRL Friday. You're listening to ABC Sport. You're at the Cauldron. My name is Quentin Hall. I'm alongside Billy Moore with Zane Bojack on the touchline and 45,000 of our best friends here that have packed this joint for the 7th instalment of the Battle of Brisbane, and 2 tries to 1 to the Broncos in that first half, and they lead 10 points to 6. It's been entertaining. It's had storylines left, right and centre. Your texts continue to be welcome on 0467 920 222. We had a DJ pumping during halftime too, Billy.
Outstanding. Oh. This was the biggest nightclub I've been into.
We need this at halftime in Magic Round. That's, I remember first Magic Round we had a DJ. I reckon I'm calling for the DJ to return to Magic Round when everyone gets to come to town.
I was going to say, you can only really do it in the first night, but really, it's a day club too.
Well, no, you do it. You do it the first 2 days, Friday and Saturday.
I say it does roll in the night time, you're right, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I hope in Magic Round we have a game of this calibre.
Well,
this is one of the better games I've seen in a while for the speed, the creativity, and just the general intensity of this contest.
Well, the hardest question, Billy, is explain to our listeners the winning and the losing of the game to this point. It's only 10-6, so there's not much in it on the scoreboard. What about beyond that?
Beyond that, fatigue will come into play. As I said, where I think this game will be won is control of the ball in the second half, taking those very few opportunities you get, and the players coming off the pine, they need to make a difference because the fatigue factor is so extreme out there. For me, the Broncos, they got in control of this game. For the first 25-30 minutes, they just seemed to slowly choke and win the field position game, and they looked like they had that little bit of opportunity. And I think it's through people like the Carrigans going deep into the line and then putting out the back, and they were really clever at stripping the Dolphins of numbers. But at the same time, you've got the counter punch of the Finns. They really want to rip you apart from 80 metres out. So you've got this really great mix of contrasting styles, but under the underpinning of the fact it is speed, it's execution, it's X factor. It's anyone's game. Interesting to see what both coaches have said at halftime. So they will give us that report. But this is on a knife's edge, can go either way. The first 15 of this second half will probably give you a really key indicator. If someone can get away with a couple of tries back-to-back, the momentum will swing.
Just interested in the absence of Payne Haas. The forward output for the Broncos, very even. Jensen 75 metres, Willison 71, Piakura 77, Ricky 76, Carrigan 89. So, they all realise that without Payne there tonight, the Broncos forwards having to really do a lot of work. As far as the Dolphins are concerned, where are their run metres statistics for the forwards? Finay Fuiaki 114, and then next best Gilbert 64. So not as even in that regard as the Broncos kick off to start this second half. And Molo charges through the first tackle and then goes to ground and loses the ball. He sort of burst through two tacklers and then went to ground, and he must have knocked it on. A little fumble.
It was like there was no wall to run into. They're going to challenge it, and it was unexpected.
Got a captain challenge here from the Dolphins. Disputed decision of a lost ball. We're coming in to tackle one. We haven't had a tackle yet.
It almost had no one to run into, and it threw him, and he's fallen over and lost control of the ball.
Well,
does he lose? I don't know if he lost that.
Well,
just loses possession of the ball. He just needs to determine if it contacts the ground, if he regains it.
He's on the ground.
So he sort of... They've gone to a frame of him hugging the ball to his chest.
The ball drops and Francis loses possession. The captain's challenge is unsuccessful.
So Wyatt Raymond's deemed that as a lost ball. First carry of the second half. So this will give Brisbane possession in attacking territory.
Well, if they slow down the blocks here defensively, the Finns, they're going to get torn apart because that man Walsh will either himself, by running or passing, find you short if you're still in the sheds.
So Zano, now you know what it's like when there's a false start in 100 metres. He's got his half-time report ready. But we can't go yet because the Bronx are right on the attack off that scrum. To the left, Reynolds gives it to Walsh. Tackle around the ankles by Farnworth and up by Avarillo and up top by Katoa. Plays the ball there to Pakes. Given infield to Tulty, who almost stepped past Flegler, who did enough to grab onto him. So Brisbane gifted an attacking opportunity with the mistake from Molo. First set of the second half. Straightening run here and no way through on a little left and right shimmy there from Willison. Plays it to Pakes, passes right for Reynolds. Second man, Mam holds it, runs it, got tackled by Nicarima. Nice read from Cody Nicarima to put down his opposite number 6. Out on the defensive left, 6 metres out, back to left and centre field for the Broncos. Reynolds passes to Walsh. Dances past Flegler only for Molo to tackle him 2 metres out. Last play, Pakes gives it to the right Reynolds. Grubber for Ricky. Hammers there to save the day. He gets it. He's tackled by Staggs. Can't get back into the field of play. Goal line drop out. Here's your chance, Zeno.
Broncos really happy with their completions. They want to do more kicking in the corners and make the Dolphins have to come out from the corners and not actually work through the middle as they're getting plenty of ground. They want to be more disciplined in defence. As for the Dolphins, they're worried that they're giving away too many errors. Guess what? Bang! First tackle of the second half. They've given another one away. Wolfie would have been livid.
Looks like they're going short with the dropout. And indeed, Katoa puts it high. About 18 metres on the fly. Oh, Cobbo had a free chance to catch it, but knocked it on. As free as they get in those scenarios, there was a few bumbling men around him, but he knocked it on into the arms of Reynolds, who's tackled. So the Broncos do have the ball. Pass left and centre field. Oh, Walsh has chucked it over the head of Mam, and it's been cleaned up by Piakura all the way back on the 40. So he has to run straight and eventually gets back to the 30 before being tackled. So that's a bit loose. Mam at dummy half. Feeds it one man infield to the right for Tolty. Takes 2 tackles but gets an offload away to Carrigan. Passes left for Mam. Laterally across the 20. Now he straightens and gets tackled by the tackle of Katoa. 12 in from the left and a dozen from the Dolphins line. Early second half, Broncos 10-6 in front. Pakes receives centre field. Passes to Carrigan. Gives it on to the straightener there from Tolfa. And Oblique's Tolfa is stopped. It does him out in the middle of the park to the right. Pakes gives it to Reynolds. Offers it to Ricky's inside line. Nice tackle from the Dolphins defence though. He was met solidly by Stone 5 metres out. Pakes to the left. Reynolds flat ball. Tolty. Great tackle. Fine Furiaki. Miracle flick pass out the back to Reece Walsh, who scores. Usually it's Reece with the trickery. He was on the end of it there. Ben Tolty. That was straight out of Hogwarts the way he flicked that out the back. That's a magic trick, and the Broncos lead 14-6.
I was going to say, start of that set, that Ben Tolty off the bench has made a difference. But I didn't think he was going to do that. That was one of the best passes you've seen in the defensive line. He's got hit, he's spinning. He's spinning, and as he's rotating, he's throwing out a beautifully timed position pass. So difficult to have done what he just did. Right on the chest of Walsh coming through. His great fullbacks do back up down the middle. Love a pass. You won't see a better pass, Zeno, and that in the year 2026. But the Finns, they're up against the defensemen. They said they came out of the sheds. They didn't help themselves. They've been camped down there into the park, and eventually the Broncos tackle 5, caught them just thinking it was going to be a kick. Well done, Ben Tolty. Great ball by Reynolds. Well finished by Walsh.
I'll leave you to do the conversion cue, then come back to me.
15 from the left and 23 metres out for Reynolds, who's kicked 1 from 2 so far tonight. Make it 2 from 3. Flags raised. Broncos 16, Dolphins 6. NRL Friday on ABC Sport. Zane Bojack on the touchline.
That pass from Tolty, you will go a long way before you see a better one from that than that, and particularly from a journeyman. I mean, he's had to wait for his opportunity, and he's making every post to win. And remember, he missed out on playing in last year's grand final. That was an absolute ripper. Without trying to be a Debbie Downer, and I suggest the pass prior to that was forward. I think it was a bit...
from Reynolds?
It'll be something that...
Come on, Debbie.
No, it was flat, mate.
We'll talk about that one tomorrow, I think.
Asako with the restart, and Walsh catches it. He gives it on to Tolfa, who is one of the few who's gone the other way. We've had a lot of Broncos go to Redcliffe. Not many have come the other way. Old Tolfa, 9-game Finn tackled on that kick return.
They finally got out of there in the park. The Finns, the first 5 minutes of the second half, been camped on their try line.
Stags to the 20, Ricky to the 30. Bang, bang as they work their way upfield. Ricky plays it, make it 18 from halfway. Hakes dips to Carrigan. Carrigan into the defensive Plath. He's got Stone helping out, as well as Finay Fuiaki. Played to Pakes, given left. And here comes Piakura. We haven't seen Ben Hunt yet, have we?
No.
It was the early entry of Shibasaki.
Yeah, we haven't seen Ben Hunt yet as Walsh gets to halfway and puts up a bomb. Underneath it, Asako. He catches it, defensive left corner, and he's tackled by Shibasaki. Dolphins start this set 15 from their own line, right corner. One man infield, the pass from Katoa, given to Avarillo. Midway goal line and halfway, 20 metres in from the western side as he's tackled. Katoa passes infield to the hammer, now on to Cobbo, who is stopped there without much gain there. They've gone more central, but not much upfield with that play. Farnworth receives and has a weaving run. High tackle perhaps from Pakes. No, referee lets it go. Around the shoulders, he said. 10 from halfway. Now Flegler receives off the right-hand side of the fellow Blondie Platt. And Flegler is taken just beyond halfway. Gets to his feet, 15 in from the right. Last play, Dolphins. Katoa receives. Kicks downfield. High but straight to Walsh. The Broncos custodian catches it, 10 from his own line. Energetic kick return and he's crunched. 23 metres from the southern end. Broncos 16, Dolphins 6.
They catch a breath now. They've got themselves back into the grind, the Finns, but they know they're going to keep going up a gear because the Bronx defence, which has leaked a bit this year, is looking very solid tonight.
Reynolds out in that right edge is taken. The Broncos skipper, a dozen from halfway, plays the ball now. Mariner goes on a blindside exploration. Good run. Gains 15. Quick to his feet. Plays at 47 from the Dolphins line. Carrigan with front foot ball. Runs at the line. Pops it past the Stags. Reels out of Nicarima's tackle before being stopped by Molo. 30 out in the right. Pass back infield to Reynolds. End of the set. Chips in behind the line. Ricky was offside, and that should have been a penalty because he then makes the tackle.
He was offside, that, but he still made the tackle.
Well, I mean, he can't jump, but he still can't tackle him, and the referee should have penalised him there for being offside. Fair call?
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyway, Cobbo's got it. He's on his own 20. Now plays the ball and Asako runs infield, 2 around him. Jermaine Asako gets an offload away though very late to Platt, who runs up to the 30 before running into the tackle of Toffa.
They are winning the collision here, the Broncos defensively. They're looking more solid than the Finns.
Played to Tabuai Fido, given left for Farnworth, but there's 3 around Herbie Farnworth. He's had a great battle with Stags. It's always one of the reasons to come to battle. It's Battle 7 on ABC Sport NRL Friday. Quentin Hull, Zane Botak and Billy Moore. Right end of the set there. Waving fisty here for the Finns. They get a fresh set. Forward goes Molo, 45 out. Next carry Stone. Ray Stone up to the 40. He's standing and he eventually crumbles to deck. 38 metres from the Broncos line. Dolphins running to the Milton Road end in this second half. To the left, Katoa. Stops, runs, gives the pass. Then on to Nicarima. He's tackled and put down. Out on that attacking left edge. 30 from the Broncos line. Back to right and centre field for a Flegler charge. Tommy Flegler stands on the 20. Gets an offload to Molo. Passes right for Katoa. Stepping off the right. Running laterally. Stepping, straightening. Tackle. Katoa. Eventually. 15 metres out centre field. Page got him there to put him to deck. Play to Plath. Given left Nicarima. Dummies and straightens. But into the tackle there of Toddy and Carrigan. Late offload. Plath charges. Takes 2 into the end goal. Ref Klein's closest. Whatever he says is right. His nose is under the ball. What's he say?
No try here, White.
He says no.
Tackle 5.
Oh.
He is held up when the initial going to ground.
Well, we couldn't see the ball, Billy, because there were tacklers around him, but Ash Klein is in the pit. There is no better camera angle than his 2 eyes there.
Yeah, and
they are going to the bunker.
It's what Walsh saves the day here, I think.
On this angle, you can see that the ball's up.
Yeah.
He did a good job of trying to sell it, didn't he, Max Platt? He put the arm up, even though the ball was...
On both angles that show the ball is held up. We have decision.
Back foot.
So out to the 10 for a play the ball. 16-6 to the Broncos. Walsh scoring early in the second half, and now
tackle 5.
Last play Finns 10 out to the right. Flegler, Katoa inside line. Fido Fuiaki man with the tackle. Handover.
So they're defending well, the Bronx. They're reading most of the tricks that especially the halves the Finns are throwing at them. They're hitting the front runner sometimes, not going to kick, so they're really testing the Bronx defensive line, but it's up to it tonight.
If I was the men for the Peninsula, I'd be really worried, Billy, because we saw them come home with a wet sail against Melbourne last week. 18 consecutive points. And of course, in the last battle, we saw the Broncos come from 28-14 down to win by 10, 38-28. So they're the second half kings that we saw in that finals run, and they got plenty of run, just like Willison is back out there, Q.
Yeah, tackled 15 from his own line. Good defensive set this so far from the Dolphins. Now it's Tulty, just short of the 30. Still a couple of plays in the set, though. Carrigan down the middle third, just takes a tough 8 or 9 on the run. That's 5. Last play, Brisbane, 12 inside their own half. Walsh inside the 40. Deep left foot kick downfield. How's the bounce? Over over the Caxton Street in goal dead ball line. Out to the 20 for a 7 tackle set. And we haven't had too many of those.
No, very rare. There's been very few stoppages, so this gives the Broncos a bit of a test in their defence, because the Finns will be in a strike zone by the end of the 6 or 7.
Cobbo up to the 30 with the first carry, and you're right, he looks in the best shape he's been in for a while, Selwyn Cobbo. Penalty, Dolphins here, high tackle coming in on Asako.
Well, this will get him right down the park now. Asako finds touch, should be well inside the Bronx half queue with a full set under them.
Well, I'll tell you what, the joker that Michael Maguire still has is Ben Hunt. He's got Ben Hunt, Jaden Hunt and young Ba'a Semu left. There's no way that Jaden Hunt or Ba'a Semu are going to get a go if you've got Ben Hunt to choose from in a game like this.
So if you're Christian Wolf, you look at Fuller. But you've got Keeley there as well. But
Schneider, Keeley, Fuller available for Christian Wolf on the bench. Oh, there's a good run. Who was that? Lemu Elu on the charge. He's tackled only 25 out, so Dolphins on the attack. Stone to the right, gives to Katoa. Patch and pass to Hammer. Out to the right edge, Avarillo. He's got Mem around him, and also Shibasaki to make the tackle. Dolphins 15 out, hard on the right. Broncos lead the game 16-6, half an hour to go. Past the left and centre field for Flegler. He's standing, he's got 3 Broncos around him to stop him, and Flegler will play it 16 metres out and centre field. Slow play the ball for Platt. Passes right, Katoa. Runs at the line, gives a pass. Hammer taps it onto Avarillo. Catch and give to Asako. Asako for the corner. Great defence, 1-on-1. Walsh takes him down, 3 from the goal line. Play to Avarillo. Past infield to the Hammer. Give it to Katoa. Grab it for the in-goal area. Fielded by Ricky. Ricky back into the field of play. Up to the 10 before being tackled. Great play, Jordan Ricky at the back after Walsh was required out on the edge to make a try saver a moment ago.
And he makes that tackle, Walsh. That means Katoa knows he can't defend. He's out of position. Great kick put through, but well diffused by the Broncos. Jordan Ricky, well done.
Rugby League entertainment of the highest order in Battle 7. NRL Friday on ABC Sport. Quentin Hale, Billy Moore and Zane Bojack bringing it to you with Katoni Staggs tackle on his own 30 out on the right. Infield runs Willison with 3 defenders around him. 27 minutes and 55 seconds to go. 16-6 to the Broncos, who have won 1 of their 3 games so far this season, as Reynolds kicks downfield. Well caught by Cobbo, tracking back, grabs it on the full on the 20. He runs up to the 30, bumps away from Mariner before Staggs makes the tackle.
And Hunt's out there, Q.
And Ben Hunt as expected, so time to play that little wild card. Where's he going to go, I wonder, Zano?
I think he's going to go through the middle.
Yeah, well, Pakes has stayed out there, so we'll see how they use him. And it's his birthday today too. 36 years young today.
Wow.
Happy birthday, Ben Hunt.
Happy birthday.
Dolphins up to half play now. It's fun work with the ball. Dummying and buffeting into the tackle of Pirakura. Got an offload away to the Hammer. He passes on to Flegler, who's standing big, Tom Flegler. He's had some tough runs tonight. Just his presence has been important for the Finns. He plays at 35 out. Played to Platt. Given to Katoa. Passes to Nikarima. Rushed at by Reynolds. Got an offload away though back to Katoa. They're still 35 out and a bit flat-footed here, the Dolphins. So Finay Fuiaki has to run into the defence and takes the tackle. Last play, says Ref Klein. Dolphins 28 metres out in the right. Avarillo passes left and centre field for a Katoa bomb. It'll come down 10 metres out. Hammer out, leaps Walsh. Walsh tackles him in the air. Penalty Dolphins.
And Farnworth saying got to go to bin for 10. That won't be the case, but he did that easy, Zano. Walsh.
You're on the Hammer every time it's a one-on-one marking contest between those two.
I reckon even Walsh knew he was no chance.
Yep.
The Hammer was going to get a perfect run, perfect jump, and he obviously just neutralised him by tackling him in the air. This is Zano, the Finn stance.
Yeah, where are they going to go? They're going to go left.
And a straight in the first from Flegler. So he's only 7 metres out. Right underneath the black dot, Broncos lead 16-6. Platt passes right, Katoa feeds it for the inside line of Finay Fuiaki. And Kuli Kefu's tackled 6 metres from the Broncos line. Platt passes left, gives it on to Knowles, and the Englishman runs into the defence of the Broncos. Led on that occasion by Pakes, a metre out. Plays it, pass right by Plath, onto Flegler, onto Katoa, right edge give, onto Avarillo, great defensive read, Shibasaki, and a great tackle one-on-one. Stops him, that doesn't out, hard on right. Avarillo passes infield for Tabuai Fido, now to Katoa, given on to Stone, he's tackled by Carrigan, they're going left and right here. The Finns has been a good defensive set from the Bronx today. Now Flegler receives once more, takes contact, offloads to Plath, back to the right for the hammer, 10 metres out, gives it to Finay Furiaki, tackled, offload to Avarillo, Avarillo for the in-goal area. Ricky's there to save it again and has taken over the dead ball line for the Broncos.
It's the best I've seen the Bronx defence in quite a while. They're absolutely smothering the Finns. They're throwing everything at them, the boys from Redcliffe. It's quite creative play. They just can't find the space because the defensive line of the Broncos is moving up and out, up and in. It is constantly coming up, cutting down the space and the time the Finns have.
Reynolds goes long with the dropout, and it's marked by Nicarima. Hands above his head, AFL style. He was going back with a flight too. Well done on the 40. Given to Flegler, who is running up to the 30, and already, like, it's not anything dynamic tonight, but just the grunt work of this man. Yeah. When he gets into footy fitness, he's going to be a huge asset up on the peninsula. Tom Flegler, they made that highly publicised move to the Finns before he had that terrible nerve injury which cost him so much footy. Now right edge, Avarillo runs infield, tackled by Ben Hunt, but got an offload away to Plath. Plath straightens, lost his legs though on the tackle of Willison, up top by Carrigan. Finns 10 metres out to the left, Katoa, pump and give along the ground, Farnworth got it, gave it to the edge. It was a little bit dubious, ref lets it go, Cobbo's there, Cobbo's tackled. 5 out, played to Farnworth. He runs infield, Herbie gives it on to Nicarima, running laterally across the 10, passes on to Flegler, standing, took a tackle, loose pass out the back, Nicarima taps it to the hammer. They're back on the 20 now, and the hammer's standing, breaks the tackle of Mam, tries to get going, and eventually stopped on 5 by the tackle of Carrigan, 21 metres out. Last play, Dolphins. Katoa chips in behind the line. Walsh has to leap again. He catches this one, Reece Walsh, much to the joy of the Lane Park faithful, and he's tackled by Asako, 10 from his own line. 23 and a half minutes left. Broncos 16, Dolphins 6.
A big set of 6 here for the Finns, but what a set defensively by the Broncos. They threw everything at them, the Finns, but there's just no way through that defensive line of the Broncos.
Still only 15 from their own line, Brisbane there. It's Stags with a run now. Reynolds at dummy half, feeds it in field. Just trying to work out. So Pakes is still basically running things from dummy half. There was the run from Marin, and now he passes to Ben Hunt. Pump and give to Mam, left edge, dummy and straight, but straight into Katoa.
He's playing like a second 5'8", Ben Hunt, so you've got obviously him and Mam on either side.
Pakes passes infield to Reynolds, who now torpedoes it downfield. Great strike on the right boot. Oh, it's a thing of beauty as it pitches 10 from the goal line, runs under the black dot into the in-goal area. A fumble backwards from Cobbo before he picks it up. Saunters into the field of play, hits the defence and tackled a dozen from the Caxton Street in-goal.
What a kick.
Oh, just... it would have made, I couldn't hear it because of the noise. Zeno, so much, could you hear the as he kicked that? That looked beautiful.
It was absolutely superbly timed, Cube. Pretty similar to you with all of those drives he hit at a Gales Golf Club.
Kasako up to the 30. Finns running upfield. Oh, Farnworth with a fumble, but he recatches before he knocks it on or loses it. Tackle 10 from halfway. Quick play the ball, Platt. He pinches 10 out of dummy half before Ricky runs him down. 16-6 to the Broncos, 22 minutes to go. Dolphins on halfway. Last play of the set. Katoa puts up a bomb. This time it's Karapani's the catch, and he does. And he's met by Avarillo and tackled 15 in from touch on the left, 20 from his own line. And once again, the Broncos will have to run upfield. So they've used all of their replacements. Hunt, that's Ben, Tolti, Toffa and Shibasaki. So no Jaden Hunt or Senu tonight. And we're still waiting, I think, for the 4th Artley Zano for the Finns.
Correct.
They've used Flegler, they've used Stone, they've used Molo. They've got Schneider, Keeley or Fuller to choose from, as the Broncos have it. 5 inside their own half on the run of Jensen. Plays the ball there now. Ben Hunt's in a dummy half to the left. Carrigan to Mann. Pass out the Bucks' Shocker. Picked up by Amarillo. He's going to scoot 35 metres untouched. will score the most easy of tries. That is a big blunder from the Broncos, and Jake Averillo has mopped it up to score for the Dolphins.
I was wondering where they were going to find the points, because as I've been lauding is how good I'm watching this Broncos defence. It's probably some of the best I have seen, and that's what's coming out from the errant pass by the Broncos. Carrigan goes to the line, out the back to the man, he's passed it, and it was a little bit confusion between him and Walsh. Walsh has overrun it, or the pass has gone behind him. Ultimate effect was loose ball picked up by Averillo, who scored underneath the black dot, and after their field position belting away, Zano whacking the head against the Broncos wall, they couldn't get through. Something so simple presents. They're back in the game. Will be successful kick. They'll be down by 4.
Ezra Mann will be so disappointed with himself. I think he's been exceptional tonight. Remember, in the first 2 weeks, he was targeted by both Parramatta and also in the opening round. You know, Penrith just ran straight through the Broncos, and particularly that left side defence. And so he's been good the last couple of weeks in Melbourne and down here for tonight's battle. But that's just a terrible pass, a no-look pass that went to no one. Well, actually, the only person that went to is Jake Averillo, who's gone over for try 5 of the season. How good's he having a year this year, Q?
Yeah, he's very quick as well. There was no way anyone was catching him as soon as he got it. As elementary as it gets for Jermaine Asako. Straight in front, 12 metres out to make it 16-12. Kicks the conversion, does Jermaine Asako. 19 minutes and 35 seconds remain in battle 7 on NRL Friday on ABC Sport. It's Broncos 16, Dolphins 12. Let's get around the grounds. The Tars have beaten the Brumbies in the Super Rugby. Waratahs 30, Brumbies 26. Repeating, Waratahs 30, Brumbies 26. Full time. The Adelaide 36ers have levelled the NBL's Grand Final Series.
Wow.
36ers 91, Kings 89. Third quarter AFL, almost three-quarter time. Collingwood lead GWS by 19 points. Pies 9-5, 59. Giants 5-10, 40. Men's friendly, still no score in the Socceroos Cameroon game. A-League women, Perth Glory 2, trail Brisbane Raw 4. That's Raw 4, Glory 2, second half of the A-League women. Kickoff's been taken by the Dolphins, and out on the left edge, Gilbert gets up to play the ball. So much time left in the game. Billy.
Well, Ray, we're 3/4 of the way through, and it's probably slowed a little bit in the last 5 minutes compared to the frenetic pace, especially the first half. But you just know there's some more storylines to be written in this match.
45,882 to see it. 45,882, the official crowders. Again, Kuli Kefu goes forward. He has been some find this year.
He's just going up a gear.
5 from halfway. Fine Fuiaki is his stop. Now Katoa kicks downfield. Just as well he's had a lot of carries. With that many syllables, you need some practice at his name. And I've had plenty of practice in 2026 for Kuli Kefu. Fine Fuiaki.
Just another player the Cowboys have let go, Q.
Yeah. There's been a few that they'd like. Kick downfield. Karapani taken.
I put Fini Fuiaki up there with Fui Moi Moi. I love their name.
Let's not get too tricky, Bill. We've still got 20 minutes to get through. Stags. There's a nice one-syllable name for you. Stags is tackle. 10 inside his own half for Brisbane. Plays it there to Ben Hunt. Given on to Jensen. Jensen into Gilbert. Make it Plath with the tackle and Gilbert. They take him on halfway. Play to Hunt. Give it to Willison. Willison almost steps through Stone but lost his footing and gets jumped on by Lemu Elu. 40 out from the Dolphins line. Broncos with it last play. Give it to Reynolds right side. Kicks deep downfield. Cobbo has to catch. Oh, he's made a meal of it. Dropped it backwards, and lucky for him. Lucky for Cobbo. Ricky was coming through and lost his footing in the challenge, and it allowed the hammer to clean up the mess and run it dead. That was almost a disaster for Selwyn Cobbo and the Dolphins. As it is, it's a goal line dropout. 16-12 Brisbane with 17 and a half to go.
Nothing beats enthusiasm. Jordan Ricky pressure on Cobbo. Cobbo cracks. They're under the pump here again. Now the Finns though.
15 on the fly. Oh, Farnworth had a clean go at the tape, but he knocked it on. on the short dropout.
And they can't challenge. They believe he's gone backwards, and it looked like he did actually for mine.
Ashcline was in perfect position, though.
They can't challenge it. Zano, what do you think?
I thought it went backwards, and yeah, you can see Tommy Gilbert was like, but I got no challenges left, I want to challenge it. Oh, that's good.
I'm with Ashcline, I'm with the ref there. I think it might have bounced backwards after he knocked it forwards. You get my drift?
No, it was like the old Gary Jack. Remember he was used to turn his body so the ball, if it came off, it always went backwards. I think Kirby was unlucky.
Centrefield scum Broncos, 15 out. Right side pass for Staggs, a one out run and straight into Herbie. Boy, those two love running into each other in battles. Battle 7 and the tackle made out in the right. Couple of sets of hands for Jensen to straighten things up for the Broncos. He's centrefield and 10 metres out. 16 and a half to go. Broncos lead by 4 to the left. Reynolds feeds the inside line there of Piakura, but he's met by the defence. Piakura's tackle, 20 in from the left and 6 metres from the goal line. Broncos fans are yelling at Ashcline for 6 more, but no, not on that occasion. Reynolds receives dummies and straightens, but tackled over the black dot. Great tackle made there by Schneider, who's out there. They've rolled that last dice. It's Brad Schneider who's out there for the Finns, who then comes and helps out the next tackle to put down Walsh out on the right edge. Walsh slow to his feet to play it. The fans wanted to do their bit here to try and get a whistle, not forthcoming. Mam has a run to the line left edge. He's tackled, and 2 Dolphins have had friendly fire. Fino Fuiaki and Avarillo have run into each other, sandwiching there the run of Mam. They're both up and they're both okay, but they're both a bit sore.
I thought he created an overlap there too, man. I'm sure, surprised you didn't pull the trigger with the pass, because I thought they had an overlap on the left-hand side, but that gets the Finns out of jail. They couldn't afford to concede any more points in that set of 6.
I think Broncos were gypped there. I think they deserved a restart and they didn't get it. Sometimes in the last 15, the referee puts his whistle away. We've seen plenty tonight already.
Kafusi's got it. Dolphins have got it. 15 from their own line at the Caxton Street end. Now Cobbo involved. He runs into Reynolds and no Staggs. A couple of his old teammates there to stop him. Dolphins on their 30. Left edge exploration with Staggs. A one out run, dancing and trying to get through, but Ricky and Ben Hunt there to put him down. No Jaden Hunt, so we'll just go with Hunt for the rest of the game. So Jaden not required, Ben off the bench. Here goes Gilbert into the defensive line. Tommy Gilbert with a couple of Broncos around him to stop him on halfway. That's play 5. Last play here, the architect is Katoa. The execution is a high, deep bomb. No challenge really on Karapani as he catches it defensive left corner. A dozen from his own line and can't get to the 20. He's about 16 from that southern end when stop, where the Broncos will start this set. 16-12 to the Broncos with 14 and a half minutes to go as Schneider reels out of a tackle as if he's got a poke in the eye.
Collision there. Might be one in the eye. You're right, Q, but it's all about completion rate going forward here from the Bronx and making sure the Finns don't get an easy opportunity to attack.
Next score seems so vital. Carrigan down the middle third, runs into Kafusi and Fino Fuiaki. Pat Carrigan tackle just inside Broncos territory. Played to Hunt, given right through Willison to Reynolds. Holding give to Walsh. Little stutter step. Quick ball Staggs. Quick ball to the edge. Mariner over halfway before he slips and gets tackled.
Oh, he's in a bit of space there, Mariner. Shame he fell over. He's quick.
Jumped on by Cobbo. Out on the right, 30 from the Dolphins line. End of the set. One man infield with the pass to Walsh. Walsh bonds with his left boot. Caught by Asako. And he's wrapped up. One thing that we are seeing, Billy, every time a bomb goes from attacking territory for a Dolphin, there's someone jumping at the intended Broncos catcher. Not as such for the Broncos kicks. The Finns back 3 getting a bit easier time of it in that regard as the Hammers got it, and he's up to the 30 before being tackled.
If I was going to put one up at the back 3, I'd be putting it to Cobbo, because Asako and to me the fullback Hammer much more secure under the high ball.
Here he is again, Fino Fuiaki. Ben Hunt's got him, and eventually Kuli Kerfu's tackled on his own 40. Plays the ball to Katoa. Given to Knowles. Men through the left. Nicarima to the Hammer. Passes to Cobbo over halfway. Defence comes across. Oh, Cobbo chucks it out the back. What was that pass? It couldn't be cleaned up by the Hammer. Jumped on by Reynolds on halfway. Cobbo was worried about the touchline.
Exactly.
But he should have taken the tackle. I don't think he was going over, was he?
I think momentum was starting to move in the Broncos' favour.
Great defence on that right edge from Mariner, and Staggs forced that That brain explosion from Cobbo. Now the Broncos on halfway. Shifted to the left edge, but Mam has to step in field. Gets a late offload to Walsh. Walsh gets away from the tackle of Knowles. He's standing. He's 32 out. He's trying to put the jive on Felice Kafusi. He says, no boy, I've seen those moves. You're gone. Kafusi tackles it. 32 out in centre field, played to Hunt, given to Jensen. He gets 6 post contact metres on a rumble. Down Main Street, he's 20 metres out. Now played to Hunt, given left for Mam. Bronx coming at him here. Rubber from Mam, miss hit, picked up by the hammer. He's tackled though. Oh, it rolled off his boots rather than sort of rolling in a controlled manner. Not a good kick from Mam. And now the Broncos have to defend. Dolphins have got it, a dozen to go in the game. 16-12. Billy Moore on NRL Friday on ABC Sport.
He berated himself there, Mam. The 5'8", he knew had he hit that sweep, they would have put some pressure on the Finns.
Loose pass from Nick Arima, but cleaned up. Avarillo goes forward and he's tackled. He stopped just short of the 30. Played it to Katoa. Gives it on to Farnworth. Runs down the middle third and then changes direction. Steps off his right. Tries to straighten. Jensen's there to make the tackle. Herbie plays at 80 inside his own half to Katoa. Gives it to the rampaging Gilbert. Gilbert over halfway. And he's only 42 from the Broncos line when stopped. Ref line says 5. Last play for the Dolphins. Through Knowles, it's given to Nick Arima. He kicks downfield. Crowd thought he was dealt with unfairly after the kick, and so does the referee. Penalty Dolphins.
Well, this might be the moment for the Finns. I'm sure they'll take the tap, but they're going to be camped right on the try line of the Broncos. Cometh the moment, cometh the man here. Katoa, what magic can he bring?
It was just a lazy, it was a lazy arm from Carrigan that was never going to do anything, but it was just ill-disciplined. It was contact after the kick, and it was just lazy from Pat Carrigan. That's a brain explosion from a man of his stature.
And it could be very, very costly.
They take the tack, the Dolphins, and they're right on the attack. Gilbert with the first carry, and he's tackled only 7 metres from the Broncos line. Broncos lead it by 4 to the right. Katoa through the hands of Knowles. He gives it on there, and the tackle is made on Finay Fuiaki, 6 metres out. Play to Plath, back to the left through Knowles onto Katoa, pops it up. Centering run from Lemu Elu, can't get through. 3 defenders there to stop him. 20 in from touch on the left and 10 metres out. Lemu Elu plays it to Plath, passes right and open side for Knowles. At the line, gives it right for Katoa. Cut out to the edge for Avarillo. Tries to change direction, slips and gets tackled by Mam. 9 metres out, 10 in from touch on the right. Plays it to Tabuai Fido, passes infield for Katoa. Dummy and straighten from the young halfback, but he's closed down by Jensen. And also Pates, last play, Dolphins to the right. Hammers pass onto Avarillo, crash ball line. Got the pass away to Osako, who has fumbled it over the touchline in trying to plant it.
If they win this game, the Bronx, they know it's all about the Broncos' defence. He's been superb tonight. They scored twice. The Finns, one through an errant pass. It was picked up by Avarillo. It's been a wall. Their defensive line as good as I've seen it.
The last pass wasn't great, just to correct myself there, Zano, among the flurry.
And they just keep scrambling, the Broncos. They've got to be proud of themselves for that. There's real concerns for Brad Snyder, though. He's straight up the tunnel, Plath back on. I'll try and find out what's wrong with him.
Yeah, thought he got maybe a poke in the eye.
I reckon that's what it looked like, Fluffy.
That's how he reeled out of that contact. 9 minutes and 34 seconds and counting. Broncos 16, Dolphins 12, Battle 7. Live with 45,882 in the house on NRL Friday on ABC Sport as Ricky rolls over the 20. Jordan Ricky is going to be tackled midway goal line and halfway down at that southern end, but the Bronx are defending. Played to Pates, given to Carrigan, passes left for Walsh. He keeps it moving to Shibasaki. He's got defenders in front of him now. Gamat Shibasaki, who's had a big role tonight with Grant Anderson off early in the game with a left knee injury. Infield runs Carrigan, and Carrigan's going to be held up right in the middle of Lang Park. Last play says referee G. It's given to Reynolds. The old skipper puts it to his boot, bombs it downfield. Cobbo again doesn't have anyone jump against him, and he catches comfortably with Ricky coming to tackle him. Dolphins have got it on their own 20 as Tabuai Fido receives, runs into the defence. 22 metres out, Caxton Street end went tackle. Plays the ball there to Plath. given to his right. Asako charges into a three-man Broncos trio that put him down on the 30. Played to Platt, given off his right shoulder to Fine Fuiaki, gains a dozen. He reels in the tackle and gets up and plays it. 8 from halfway, blindside right, given to Avarillo, has to step in field. Pakes is making the tackle there. Last play Dolphins, they're 49 from the Broncos line, trailing by 4. They run it to the left. Knowles to Katoa, through the hands to Nikarima, catching here Farnworth. Farnworth with the grubber in behind. He falls over. Walsh picks it up. Walsh has got it for the Broncos. Ref says fair ball. Walsh is tackled out on the right. Bronx have got it 31 from their own line. 8 minutes to go. Broncos 16, Dolphins 12.
And that's well said. The 8 minutes, you're right, Q. There's the scoreboard. Pressure's building on the Finns. They've only got a couple more chances to roll the dice and break this Broncos defence.
Almost next score wins territory. Perhaps. Jensen to halfway. Broncos working it upfield. Piakura left edge. Gets into Dolphins territory. 45 from the Finns line, 15 in from the left as he plays it to Pakes. Given right for Carrigan. Now Reynolds. Dummies. Tackled from behind by Knowles. Good read from Morgan Knowles to put down the Broncos skipper on 5. 40 metres from the Dolphins line. Last play, it's a Reece Walsh kick. It's high. It'll come down about a dozen out. Oh, no one wants to catch it on the full. It bounces away from Asako. It's taken by Shibasaki, and Shibasaki delivers the Battle 7 dagger. Jermaine Asako watched it bounce, and Jamat Shibasaki took the fortune of the bouncing Steeden to give the Broncos a 20 points to 12 lead.
Never let the ball bounce. That's what you learn when you're a young kid. And you can just see it was put up in the air by Walsh, and Asako and the hammer are looking at each other, going, is it yours, mine? No one called for it. It lands, and as usually happens when you invite harm your way, it will find you, and then you've got to deal with the consequences. Once that ball hit the ground, it was a lottery, and went the way of the Broncos. Shibasaki was making sure he's saying, hey, I'm still here. I might have moved back down the queue a little bit in that back 5 of the Bronx. Well, he's put his hand up, so don't forget me, but that came down from an error from the Finns. Nobody in the back called the ball. Someone should have called it.
And he's had such a great game, Jermaine Asako. For him to come up with that vital error, I feel so sorry for him. First try of the season for Jamat Shibasaki, and as you said, Bill, you know, he's been taken out of the side. There's big concerns about his defence, but he's come up with a big play tonight, and congratulations to him. But can I say this, boys? There's some days of your life, there's some things you just never want to end. Your 21st, when you get married, when you have kids. Oh, I love the battle. I never want it to end. This is amazing.
Reynolds will try and convert just to the left of the uprights, approaches, strikes, and sends joy, even further joy to the Broncos fans here at the Cauldron as the flags are raised and the Broncos lead the game by 22 points to 12 with 5 minutes and 31 seconds left in battle 7. They'll make the derby count 6-1.
Yeah, and I've said it a few times in the second half, it's all about the Broncos D has won this match for them. It's been superb. It's been as good as I've seen. When you consider they've leaked 80 points in the season to date, they've got the 10th best defence, so that's pretty poor. So tonight's the best I've seen it this year, and it was outstanding.
There's a miracle. The first step's been taken. Dolphins get the ball back off the kickoff. 12 on the fly, tap back from Farnworth to Nikarima. So they've got it, the Finns, and they trail by 10. There's 5 minutes and 10 seconds left in the game. Kafusi to the 30. If they score here, the place will rumble. Here goes Gilbert on a right side run. Tom Gilbert stands and eventually crumbles to deck. Only 23 metres from the Broncos line. Dolphins get the ball back off the kickoff. They're on the attack. Katoa. Short ball onto Kafusi. Kafusi's tackled. 16 metres out. Plath runs into dummy half. Passes right in centre field for Knowles. Knowles passes to Katoa. Overlap on the right. Pass to Avarillo. Didn't give the pass. Shibasaki's there to tackle him. Only 5 from the goal line, 5 in from the right. Play to Asako. Last play. Passes infield to Katoa. Chips laterally. Leapt at and knocked on by the Broncos. Leapt at it by Staggs. He knocked it on. Regathered by Ben Hunt. And The Finns will get another crack at the line here.
This will be their last roll of the dice. They've got to score this set of 6. They need two tries to get their nose back in front. So this is the set of 6 that's got to start. And they're having trouble stripping the Broncos of numbers. I think it's going to be closer to the ruck, a little short ball. That's where they'll get the Broncos. I don't think they can go around them because at the moment they're defending too well on the slide, the Broncos.
4 minutes and 7 seconds left. Dolphins scrum out on the right. Broncos lead by 10 points. Pass to centre field. Katoa, Nicarima gives it to Avarillo. Mams in his face to make the tackle. Avarillo to play it for the Finns, 12 metres from the Broncos line. Platt the dummy half. Given on to Fine Fuiaki. A settling surge towards the black dot. He's slammed on his back by Jensen and Carrigan. 4 metres out. Played to Platt. Given right for Gilbert. Thighs pumping. Tom Gilbert's got 3 defenders around him to hold him up. A metre from the goal line at the southern end. And he stuffs up to play the ball, and that's the end of the section. That is the end of the section. Tom Gilbert trying to get the quick play the ball, had a fumble, and now with only 3 minutes and 20 seconds left, the Bronx will have the pill. They've got the lead and they'll run down the clock and they'll level their ledger at 2-2 for 2026.
Well, they kept throwing everything at the Broncos' defence, but they just kept answering the call. It's been impressive to only concede 2 tries against the team of the ilk of the Finns. So well done, the Broncos, lads.
Tony Staggs, he doesn't want to cog down, finds a bit of a run right edge there, almost got around Nicarima before being tackled, about 25 from his own line. Oh, Knowles comes out of the line to have a bell ringer of a hit there on Ricky. Good on him.
He's played well, Knowles.
Yeah, Ricky tackled, 20 from his own line. Now Carrigan goes forward. Broncos have done this without Payne Haas tonight. That being said, for the Finns, still no Marshall King.
They're missing him. They're missing something coming out of the middle.
Yeah, Dan Saifidi still not there. Bostock and Donahue are probably their best group, but you wonder with the backline starts whether or not Bostock gets a game these days when he gets back from his knee, as Mam is tackled on halfway, 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Broncos lead 22-12. Reynolds kicks for touch. It'll bounce and stop. Cobbo has to field it for the Dolphins. Passes infield to Farnworth, who's trying to put a buzzing move on and gets away from a couple of defenders. Passes to the hammer. They shift it to the right. Asako's got it. Dummy and straight in Asako. One-handed pass to Avarillo over the 30. Passes infield to Farnworth. Farnworth has to stop. He's got a wall in front of him. Gives to Avarillo. They pass it to the left edge. Now Cobbo comes infield. It's catch and give here on to Kafusi. They're across the 30 and eventually Kuli Kefu. Fine Fuiaki's going to be tackled.
Good to watch. Wasn't going anywhere, but good to watch.
Trying to cog down Billy and conserve some energy. Got 2 other games to call this weekend. 90 seconds to go. There is no cogging down in the Battle of Brisbane, but it will the Broncos who retain bragging rights as Katoa almost put his man through a hole. Offload there from Lemu Elu. Gets into the hands of another Dolphin. He's tackled. Who was it who got in the end? Gilbert, 30 metres out. And it's given on to Knowles with a straightening run. He's tackled 22 metres out inside the final minute. Given right, Katoa passes to Kuli Kefu. Fine Fuiaki bursts through 2 before Walsh makes a try save at 2 metres out.
What a tackle, Walsh.
Yeah, there's 6 more on a double grab, but that was a try saver from Walsh. Shift to the left. Nikarima's flat ball. Lemu Elu burst a tackle, tried to pass, lost it. Went to the deck, picked up by Mariner of Brisbane. Up to the 20, up to the 30. Men around him, Mariner dragged down from behind before getting to halfway. There's 30 seconds to go, but these 2 teams taking every opportunity to stun this crowd. Staggs steps out of dummy half, and as he did in Battle 1, he will score the last try. Tony Staggs says this time at the Caxton Street end, this is our goddamn house, and the Bronx are going to win Battle 7.
How dare you come here and try to take it off us. Well done to Tony Staggs. The Broncos, they never relented. The defence was excellent. The Finns ran out of options. What a finish, and probably that's the best way to finish. It's been non-stop from the first moment to the end of this game. It's been of the highest quality, some exciting play, some bravery. The collisions have been epic. The vision, the X factor, the rugby league IQ. What a game of football. And it's just, there were so many good players, so much strike. And in the end, that was just an out-and-out foot race for Tony Staggs. A double try tonight. He just, what a way, he found a way to finish. As you said, Jim, he's saying, this is our house.
The marketing department's delighted, Zane. They've got fresh vision of the gold material.
Absolutely.
It's the same stuff, but they've got fresh vision.
They have indeed. And you know what? I know that he gets the 4 points for Tony Staggs, but give 2 of them to Reece Walsh. That try-saving tackle that he put on Vinny Fuiaki, that was amazing. And if he doesn't make that tackle, they're conceding points, not scoring them down the other end. Look, he does some silly things, Reece Walsh, but that was amazing defence. And then the Broncos, with the speed of Mariner and the guile and the agility and the absolute brilliance of Tony Staggs, goes over for a try-double. What a game of footy this has been.
As actually, Reece Walsh had a rocket all tonight. I think everything's been diamonds.
I think apart from maybe a kick that wasn't where it meant to go, I think it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Last play of the game. Corey Jensen's had an attempt at goal in his 150th game. He hasn't been able to kick it. And the Premiers prevail over the Peninsula. The Broncos win it 26 points to 12. What a battle. In name and in reality, it lived up to its billing. The Finns are 2-2. The Premiers are 2-2. 10-6 half-time is 26-12 in the end. Staggs 2 tries. Reynolds, Walsh and Sivasaki scored as well. Reynolds 3 from 4. Jensen none from 1. For the Dolphins, as Sarko and Avarillo, the try scorers, as Sarko with 2 from 2. Get your messages. We'd love to hear from you. 0467920222. Bronx have got Gold Coast at Robina next week. The Finns play at Redcliffe against Manly Warringah. We don't know who's coaching them, but we know they'll be playing the Sea Eagles with that big news of the night. So much to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Zano's interviews to come as well. Bronx have won it 26-12.
Another week of chaos off the field for the Broncos, too. And the only way we can answer all that chaos is through victory. The win is what quiets that noise. It makes that noise irrelevant. All that matters is the player group and the performance on the field, where the puppet master Maguire has his chance to say to everyone else, I don't care what you say, what you feel, I'm doing my job, and our job is to find very easy by one thing, the scoreboard. We win, say what you want, well done.
Yeah, I'm down here with Gemma Chibasaki. Mate, you get your chance because Green Anderson gets injured and you made every post a winner. What a big play that was to score that try, Gemma.
Yeah, mate, like, even though I wasn't in the team, I still had to be ready, you know, because any time I could take the field. So I had to do what I needed to do at the end of off the field, get my body right, and, I just have to be ready because anytime I can step up, I can play. So like that there.
I know it's hard to process just how good a game that football was, but why did you prevail? Why did the Broncos win this game?
We needed to win it. We know we need to back ourselves. You know, a lot of stuff's hitting us at the moment, and we're just trying to stick together and, you know, get the win and win for us as well. You know what I mean? So we deserve that win. We worked hard.
I know Ben Tolty said earlier this week it's just hard because you keep hearing stuff that you can't really deal with yourself. It's got to be left to the administration. But given the soap opera that it's been, do you just want to put some wins together and just forget about everything that gets written about you guys?
We can't control anything that's outside the locker room. So I think the things that we can control is doing our jobs and getting the win and working hard for each other and stuff like that. So we keep building and putting a performance like that and compounding stuff like that, then we'll get more wins. So yeah, it's good.
All right. Well, your next match is against the Titans. How important is it that you maintain the rage? You now won 2 in a row and outstanding defence in both second halves of your last 2 wins.
Yeah, no, it's important for our D, and it's important for us to, you know, back it up and go the next week after that, and the week after that, week after that. We get ourselves right throughout the week, and then we just go for whoever's up next. So yeah.
My final question. I don't know whether you're aware of this, but Anthony Seibold got sacked tonight, and the talk is that Matty Ballin, your assistant coach of the Broncos, who wore the blue shirt tonight as the trainer, is the prime candidate to be that coach. Could you handle losing both Ben Teo and Matt Ballin in the same week?
like I said, it's out of our control, whatever's outside the locker room and stuff like that, and all we can do is control what's inside and focus on putting a performance like that. So.
Do you expect that he would be a good head coach if he did get the opportunity?
Oh, well, look, if Matty Ballon gets the job, that's congratulations on his behalf, but it's also our job right now is to get a win and get ready for the Titans. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations, Kevin. Great to see you out there. Well done on getting that 4-pointer.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Good on you, Zane. Gamet Shibasaki, who was the beneficiary of basically a left knee injury to Grant Anderson. It's a medial knee. It looks like it's going to be a stint on the sideline for the new Bronco, fresh from being recruited from the Melbourne Storm. But great chat there with Zane Bojak, and we'll stay close. 26-12, the final scoreline. Chris, our old mate from Mount Isa, is on the text saying, Suncorp will always be our house. It'll never be yours, Finns fans. Oh, the bragging rights, they've been kept in Broncos' hands. Hit 0467 920 222. Tony from Pingara. Love your exciting calls, guys. Good on you. Teresa from Castledine. Great call as always. Congrats to Billy, and hope Zane's little boy had a great time. Yeah, great that he's able to bring the next generation to the footy tonight as well. Boy, that did not stop. I mean, modern footy goes like that, Billy, but let's get back to Zane now.
I'm down here with a man who, wow, I don't know how many tackles he broke. Just the agility of this man is incredible. Has to be contended for centre of the comp.
Yeah, that's right. Very intense game of footy. I thought it could have gone either way. Then obviously that try at the end sort of blew the scoreline out of proportion. But yeah, proud of the boys. We've come a long way since last year. We're only going to build and get better.
I want to ask you a question. Billy Moore, our esteemed commentator, said he feels like you guys are actually more dangerous from 40 out than 20 out. Do you feel like you get a little bit lateral inside the 20? Because I know the Broncos' defence was outstanding tonight, but there was a lot of push passes there, perhaps in that last 10, 15, rather than when you sort of create shape with 40, 50 out?
Yeah, probably a bit of scoreboard pressure towards the end then. I thought we were lucky with a couple of no tries then. I thought the first one was could have gone either way, and then Nephew's pass, but Cooley through was again borderline. So I thought our attack was okay, but just a couple of things didn't go our way and a couple of things went their way, and that's pretty fair.
You brought up a topic that I wanted to talk to you about. You weren't far away from when Nicarima goes through, and Adam Reynolds turns his shoulders and creates a barrier that Lemuelu's not able to run through. So from that perspective, mate, is it frustrating for you that call doesn't go your way?
Yeah, it is, but obviously the calls like come and go, like some go your way, some don't. But yeah, I did think that obviously Reynolds made an effort to tackle Collins and Collins didn't run him over in my opinion, but I'm not a referee, so it doesn't matter. All
right, well, for you guys, what's the approach now? What do you need to do as you move forward? Great win last week against the Sharkies. You just sort of outgunned the Titans in the end in the previous match. What do you got to do moving forward to make sure that you improve on 2 and 2?
Well, that's it. We just got to get slightly better each week. Got a lot of boys coming back. Obviously, Fleggy's first game of footy back for us after that little rib niggle. Same with Frankie. Hopefully getting Kurt Donahue back, and obviously JMK is not far away either. So still a fair few boys back of key players that are coming back to us.
Well, look, I really appreciate chatting to you, Herbie. Best of luck next week, and yeah, what a game of footy. Thanks for being part of it, and hopefully next time it goes your way.
Thanks so much.
Great chat, Zano, with Herbie Farnworth. Despite all of the smearing across town between just turn up to see Herbie Farnworth run into Katoni Staggs. Is there it's weird, isn't it? Usually you have these big derbies, or Carroll versus the Chief when it was Manly versus the Knights. You think of those things in the old days are all forwards, but I just love those two centres running at each other. It's amazing.
You had the Hammer and Walsh, but you're right. That is actually, as I said, that's international standard.
Yeah.
They're two are probably, I'd say, the best 4 centres in the world.
Got a bit of it in the Ashes.
But they're up against each other. So there's no one else really in their world. It's just those two in that one lane.
Yeah.
And they either beat each other. If one makes the slightest mistake, it's a try. If you're out of position, it's a try.
I mean, I'm thinking of all of those, man. I'm thinking Friday versus Warrior Hargreaves. I mean, we see those with forwards, but we rarely see it on the edge of the field, don't we?
And when it's a forward battle, like we said, those guys, the Chief versus Spud, there's a lot of other players that are in the sort of mix. But when it's centres, you actually isolate, you're in your own little lane, as I said. So they come across each other dozens of times in one game. Probably 20, 25 times. Their opportunity to be the victor over each other.
Billy Moore with you. It's the Broncos with the bragging rights, 26 points to 12, and a huge night of rugby league. Stick around because we'll get more reaction too from that news of earlier tonight, not only from across the ditch with the Warriors beaten at Mount Smart Stadium. West Tigers won 32 to 14. But
so say that again.
West Tigers beat the Warriors.
Without their captain, Luai.
The Tigers are 2-1, Bill.
And the Warriors were 3-0 leading the comp.
Yeah. Wow. So 32 to 14 the scoreline there, and Manly Warringah's looking for an interim coach because Anthony Seibold has been sacked only 3 games into the season off the back of that loss to the Roosters in very rainy conditions at Brookvale Oval.
Is that too early to gauge the season 3 rounds in?
Robbo from Logan says, I need to apologise for blaspheming it when the last try was scored. Well, Robbo, I'm not going to because I'm just giving the passion of the call, and I actually was, pretty happy to refer to the historical nature of that try and what Herbie Farnworth, what Katoni Staggs said at the end of that first game, which was inappropriate to air. So it's telling the story in the most appropriate manner. But thank you for your text, Robbo. It was a goddamn big moment to win the game.
Well, it was profound, and as you said, you'll see it all through the rest of this year.
By the way, that's doubling down if you didn't get that, Bill. Thank you for your text, 0467 920 222.
It was great passion. That's what you want to see in sport. Passion shown by obviously the players, the commentators. We all get wrapped up in it as well. In a house with 46,000 people in, that's great to be part of.
Let's get back down to Zeno. He's got a pretty tired but pretty happy footballer, even though his team got beaten. I reckon he loved being back out there, Zeno.
I reckon he loved taking on his former team, even though the result didn't go his way. Tom Flagler, how do you react to that performance there tonight? I know you didn't get the win, but wowee, that was some game of football.
Yeah, it was a good game. I think at the end of the day, we got what we deserved there. We didn't look after the ball enough. We weren't disciplined enough. And, if you do that against a team like the Broncos, you're going to pay the price, and that's what we got. You've struggled trying to get consistent football this year off the back of 2 years out. So I know your coach said to me prior, he said, look, he's going to play about 50 minutes tonight. How did you handle it in the middle? I know you didn't have Payne to come up against, but there was some pretty willing defence out there. Yeah, look, it's just another game of footy. They're pretty resilient tonight, the Broncos, and they kept turning up, and it was a good matchup for me, yeah.
All right, so what's the storyline going to be, you think, for the Dolphins? Last week, absolutely thrashed Cronulla through the middle. Did you get too lateral tonight? Or something I said to Herbie Farnworth, and he said, well, just perhaps execution. But what did you think? Did you think that there was enough forward thrust?
Yeah, there's plenty enough forward thrust. It was just like I said, we gave away too many penalties, and you pay the price when you play a team like Broncos.
All right, just finally, next week you take on Manly. I don't know whether you're aware, Manly sacked their coach tonight. Anthony Seibold is gone. And it's interesting because former Manly great actually is assistant coach at the Broncos, who I know you know quite well, in Matty Ballin. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. But next week, you don't know what you're going to get, do you, when you take on a side that's going to have a new coach?
Yeah, look, we're not at the moment. We just need to focus on ourselves. It's not spend too much time worrying about the other team and focus on ourselves, get ourselves right.
All right, Tommy, always great to chat to you. Congratulations on your performance tonight. Hopefully next week will win for you guys.
Thank you.
It's great to see him back playing football. Tom Flegler, and he's now having a chat there with former teammate Pat Carrigan. 0467 920 222 on the text. 26-12 for the Broncos over the Dolphins. Joel from Newcastle rightly text, I'm a Souths fan, but you just mentioned the Tigers have 2 wins and 1 loss. They, in fact, could be 3 wins straight to start the season. They really could be. They did go close to beating Souths in Gosford last Saturday night.
Yeah, I thought they were probably their own worst enemies at times in that game. So you're right, they could go away with the chocolates, but well done to South to get the points. But
hey, I've got a text here from super producer Ralph Tucker. I reckon he's leaning into first thought for Sunday. Who do you think of when you think of head-to-heads? I've talked about Farnworth and Stags tonight. He's just sent me a text. What about Mad Dog McDougall versus Wandle? Oh, good one, Ralphie. There's a hint for Sunday. Back to you, Zano.
I'm down here with a man who, I don't know whether he wondered whether he was going to get it on the field, because with Gemma Shibasaki coming out early, sort of questioned, where do you go? Do you go to Jaden Hunt? Do you move on to, some of the other forward thrust? And in the end, Benny Hunt comes out and helps ice the game for the Broncos. Firstly, happy birthday, mate. You're happy to win that on your birthday, 36 years today?
Yeah, obviously always happy to get a win, mate. And yeah, Madge made me wait there for a bit. He told me I'd be on in the first half for Pacey, but then obviously with Grant Anderson getting injured there, it just throws a bit of a spinner in the rotation. So had to wait a little while, but yeah, got out there and did my little bit.
What was it like out there? Because I know you're on the bench when the first 40 minutes were played. I don't think I've seen a faster game of footy this year, and in particular, the number of restarts. We've been saying it every week, but it just seemed like it was impossible to try. You were retreating the whole time, man.
Yeah, it was bloody frantic, mate. To be honest, by the time I got on there, you could sense that there was a lot of fatigue in the game. So, if that contributed to guys just flopping in tackles or being a bit slow here and there, you could really feel that guys were tired, and the opposition were just moving faster than us. So we just had to probably get into a few more tackles for a bit longer.
Last week you controlled the team from the 7. This week you get your skipper back. What a performance by him, that little grubber kick into the in-goal and score. It was Alan Langerline.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, little fella had a good game tonight. Really good. He's obviously been a great player for a long time, and it's always good to have him back on the side. But I think there's a lot of our boys that played well tonight. Paddy Carrigan, Jordan Ricky, Reece Walsh is hitting his straps again. It's good to see.
Paddy Carrigan's not getting much respite. He's playing most minutes. Are you worried that it might catch up with him, particularly during the rep season?
Oh, look, you like to think it won't, mate. He's a bloody fit bugger. He looks after himself extremely well. So, just keep running until the wheels fall off.
All right, just finally, you're going down the road to play the Titans next week. Important that you go from 2-2 to 3-2, and you're on a bit of a roll.
Yeah, it is, mate. That's the key at the start of the year. You got to put some back-to-back wins in, and it's going to be a little trip down the road there to play a team that's going to be pretty desperate, I think. So it'll be a good one.
Matty Ballin might be leaving you guys as well. Seabold got sacked tonight, and there's every talk. Yeah, I know, it's unbelievable. And the talk is that he's a prime candidate to be the Manly coach. How would you handle losing 2 assistant coaches in space of a fortnight?
Mate, I'm have to retire and just go an assistant coaching job. A bit better on the body, but I didn't expect that to be coming tonight. Like I guess I knew Seabold was in the hot seat a bit, but definitely a surprise only being 3 rounds in, and I don't really know what to make of it.
You would obviously vouch for him that he's a quality operator and ready for a head coaching role.
Yeah, he's a legend of a bloke, Matty. He really is. He's been at this club for a long time, done an apprenticeship under some great coaches. He's been in Origin. I don't see why he wouldn't be good for the job.
All right. Well, look, I really appreciate chatting to you, Ben. I hope you have many happy returns, and thanks for chatting to us on ABC Sport.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Ben Hunt. Good on you, Zano. 36 candles today and a win. Coming on late. A couple of texts here. Claire says, great call as always, Quentin and team. Could Ben Teo be the new Manly coach? Did he have insider information? Claire, thank you. 0467920222. Brett in FNQ texts, I don't care if I pay $5 for fuel tomorrow. At least Seeps is gone. Manly forever. Look, we'll get to the wrap-up of that Tigers-Warriors game in a sec. But, Billy, we'd better get your votes first. 26-12, Broncos over the Dolphins, repeating those scoring details. 2 tries to Stags, Reynolds, Walsh and Shibasaki also scored. Reynolds 3 from 4, and they gave Jensen the ceremonial kick for conversion in his 150th game. Pretty tough one though, it was out on the right touch line and he missed it. Asako and Avarillo scoring for the Finns. Asako 2 from 2, 10-6 half time, 26-12 at the end.
I go 3 to Walsh. Try assist. That's what he does. But he had 20 carries for 200 metres. But he kicked for 350 metres in the game, the same amount as what Reynolds did. Then defensively, I reckon he saved at least two. One was that brilliant around the ankles tackle, which was a try saver. I think it was a Finifuiaki, right?
Yep.
And then one or two of the sort one. Without him in that game, they don't win. Simple as that.
And the only blight on his game was
it was shitty.
A couple of high balls and the hammer out jumping him.
Yeah, and while you don't belittle anything, if the hammer's going to out jump most people.
Yeah.
But
and I just wondered too whether or not that's part of defensive lines now not wanting to really structure up the way they had been because they get this edict during the week. Oh, by the way, we're going to be onto you if you form walls in front of the fullbacks trying to catch or the whoever's trying to catch.
I actually think it is spectacular in our game to have that jump contest. So I want to see more of that. So
it's been about 15 years to try and get the contest to we saw shepherding off the ball for years. Finally decided, okay, that's it. And then it's like jumping and tapping it. No, we don't want to see basketball tip-offs or AFL ruck contests. We want to see guys trying to catch. But tonight, a couple of times, those are the clips that the NRL will say, this is what we're trying to do. You know, guys leaping in against each other to try and catch the ball. So 3 to Walsh.
2 to Finifuiaki. I think he's just gone to another level. I didn't realise he was this good. He's been around 2 or 3 years. He's not like he's a newbie.
22 years of age, 61st game of the NRL tonight.
22?
Yeah.
Well, he ran for 222 metres off 20 carries, but this one got me 110 post-contact metres. He was absolutely devastating. 36 tackles. His work rate was phenomenal, and the other big number, he was on the field for 75 minutes.
Wow.
I thought he was outstanding. And I gave 1 point to our man Carrigan.
So he got the battle medal, by the way. I just thought I'd hold that back because I wanted to see whether he got into your votes or not. And in a game like that, you could have probably given votes to 7 or 8 players.
So his quick little stats, he played the whole 80 minutes, obviously. 17 carries, 154 metres, 47 post-contact, 52 tackles. And I think Zano made a really good point that the burnout factor, he looks, I thought back in last year, he wasn't the same starring player. His bar's very high, but I thought he was brilliant tonight.
3 to Walsh, 2 to Finifuiaki, 1 to Carrigan, 26-12 Broncos over the Dolphins. Okay, just before the wrap from Mount Smart, full-time in the AFL, Collingwood's defeated Greater Western Sydney, the Magpies 13-9-87, for the Giants 7-12-54, so the Giants are struggling after winning week 1. They've lost their next 3. Full-time in the men's friendly, Jordan Boss scoring for the Socceroos. Socceroos 1, Cameroon 0. Australia 1, Cameroon 0 in the men's international friendly. In the A-League women tonight, Brisbane Roar 5 beat Perth Glory 2. And of note around the grounds tonight, the Waratahs beat the Brumbies 30 points to 26. And the 36ers have levelled the NBL's grand final series. It's a best of 5 games, 1 each, with the 36ers winning 91 to 89 earlier tonight. Okay, across the ditch, Tigers 32, Warriors 14. Take it away, Maury.
It was really convincing from the West Tigers, who trailed 10 points to 0 early in the game, and then the Warriors seemed to have all the opportunities in the world to add to that score and really put the Tigers to the sword. They were A, incapable of doing it tonight, and B, the West Tigers' defence was so resilient. Those early tries in the first 16 minutes for the Warriors came to Chance Nickel, Klukestar and Jacob Laban, but then a decisive 7.5 minutes before half-time as young winger Tino Tavana scored, then Kai Pearce-Paul, and on the stroke of half-time, Royce Hunt crashed over to score. Half-time was 16-10 to the Tigers, and then a real arm wrestle in dewy conditions before Jareem Buller scored in the 60th minute, and that was basically game over. They did get a late try to Chance Nickel Klukestar to keep the Warriors interested, but then 2 late tries to the Tigers, 32-4.